6. Command Toga, SRS runway, auto thrust is loose. 80 knots, thrust set. 5500. 31. Rotate.
Ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is Shark Week here in the Microsoft Flight Simulator. We are ready to go. Who's ready for some Sharklets this morning, huh? I'm ready. I know you're ready. I'm ready. We're sitting on the ramp in Denver in a Frontier A321, ready to go. Who's ready? You guys ready? I'm excited. This is going to be a lot of fun. So we've got a lot to get. Oh, am I trolling? Wait, what? Does this look like it? Oh, I'm sorry. I have the wrong sim loaded. Hold on. Give me a second, guys. My bad. Here we go. Who is ready for some Sharklet action today? Special permission to not say anything. What is up, everybody? Here we are in the actual Fenix A321. You guys are too easy. Too easy to troll, man. It's just so fun. I love it. I absolutely love it. I have no idea what you're talking about. Apparently, there's something coming out that says there's going to be some Sharklets. So we're going to talk about it. I wanted to talk about it yesterday. Got tied up with some stuff happening, so we had to postpone that stream. We're going to do this stream today. We're going over the changelog. Well, not really a changelog. It's the blog post of what is to come. And it's absolutely loaded with some little niche information, as Turk would like to say. So we're going to be flying the CEO, obviously. It's all we have right now. We don't have any Sharklets available to the general public, unfortunately. I can't wait to get my hands on it. Hopefully, it will be soon. They said Shark Week, so if it's Shark Week, I'm thinking maybe by the end of the week, I would hope. So, but there's a lot to dissect in the blog post. Some really cool stuff in there that I think if you don't really understand what's going on behind the scenes, you're not going to be able to appreciate it at the level of which it's going on, if that makes sense. So we'll do that in cruise. Stick around for that. We got ATC online. We got some, let's see, we got some snow still falling, which is good. We're going to do some de-icing procedures. We might have to do some ice shedding. This is the first winter operation that we've been faced with this season. So this is actually good for me, too, to kind of get in the mindset of what's got to happen, you know, when you're operating in snowy and icy conditions. It's been a while since I've had to get de-iced, too. So this should be fun. Benny, 47 months support. My man, appreciate you. I'm ready. Let's go. Mickey G says, don't ever show FSX again. Hey, don't insult FSX like that. Okay, Mickey G? Don't insult FSX like that. FSX has got a special place in my heart, my man. Hey, I did get a tracking number, so it is on time for Friday. Just FYI. Can confirm the snow in Colorado. Love it after such a warm fall. Hey, Tyson, I know. I wish it was colder here in Texas. It's like 95 degrees already in the great state of Texas. So I was thinking, man, we should do an RJ stream after this and fly to Aspen. I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's get this airplane fired up here. We're going to come into the cockpit of our 321. Let's get fired up. Let's get airborne. We got a lot to go over. This is a pretty cool airplane. This is the old 586 November Kilo. This was one of the only Spirit aircraft, to my knowledge, to receive the white and blue paint. This aircraft was eventually painted gray scale, I think. Maybe it stayed blue. I can't remember. This aircraft has an interesting story. I don't know if this tail number is still. I wonder if this is the one that crashed. I know one of the funky Spirit 321s ended up crashing abroad in a different country. I can't remember which, but this will be it'll be good to go over some stuff with this bird here. So here we go. It is snowing. We are in Denver. Let's get the airplane fired up here. We'll go battery 1, battery 2. Check your sim sounds. They should be up and running. They are on my end, so they should be running on your end. Here we go. We'll get the external power on. We'll wake up the aircraft here. Is Spirit dead? Man, I don't know. There's a lot going on. They just announced they're furloughing 300 more pilots, so that puts 600 pilots on the street. That is not very good, man. Not very good. We'll see what happens. I mean, I think my personal opinion, we won't get into it. Obviously, politics, this is flight sim. We don't cross the two. Big political day. It only happens once every 4 years in the United States. Was an election day. I think everybody, not just airlines, but I think there's a lot of stuff that kind of hinges on an election year. Businesses are holding to make moves. Everybody's kind of like, what's going to happen during this election cycle in all aspects of business. So I'm curious to see what happens coming up, because right now Spirit is not in a good position. So it'll be interesting to see as the months progress and we get into the new year, what happens with the airline industry. Does Jackson Hole have any snow? You know, I looked, college dude. I didn't see any in the sim. I'm not sure if there's any happening there in real life right now, but in the sim there was no snow available. So election where? I've never heard of it. Yeah, I know, right? All right, let's go ahead and power this thing up. Cruise supplies coming on. Ground control CVR test. Captain Purrs to Captain. Let's go ahead and get the ADIRs to the align position. I haven't flown the 321 in a mile. We'll put that in the auto nav 1. Seatbelt sign off. No smoking auto. Arm the emergency exit lights. Let's go ahead and do a engine fire test 1. Engine fire test 2. Zippy Zappa, what's up? Good to see you, man. Zippy already did the APU fire check, so we'll skip that. Going up the right-hand side, everything else looks good. PA is out and on. Beautiful there. Let's go ahead and hop down to the McDo. We'll do an init request. I am happy to report that after updating my mini FCU works with the 321 now. So for a while there, my 321 was not working with the mini FCU, but my 319 and 320 were. So I just did a simple update. You guys helped me do that on the last stream, and now it works with the 321. So if you had the same issue as I did, where the mini FCU wasn't mini FCUing on the 321, try doing all the latest updates, like the firmware and all that stuff, and it should work. Russ says it'll work with the 3082. Well, that's good news, man. That's good news. All right, let's go ahead and go to the mass and balance. No, let's go to ground ceviches. No, mass and balance. Let's go ahead and start this loading process here. We're going to do GSX boarding and refueling. Go ahead and give it a full send there. We'll continue our pre-flight initialization. This flight is going to be Spiritual Wangs, NKS 357. Cost index, we're going 99. I'll tell you what, we will never get up there. Let's do 77 for now. Maybe that'll back it off a little bit so we can climb. I did mess with the weights. So I messed with the weights to get us as heavy as we could be for takeoff and still be somewhat under landing weight. Remember the Fenix, we are in a lighter weight variant here, so I think the max landing on this puppy is like 160 something, 166 maybe. And we're going to be about 164,000 on landing. So we'll be pretty heavy on landing into Vegas. I threw on 1,500 extra pounds because we have to do the de-icing procedure. We got to do a Type 1 and Type 4. So we got a lot to cover today, And I will check, what did I file? Cruise altitude was 34,000 feet. Does that jive? West is even. Yeah, that's good. 34 is set. Ground temp right now is -2. So let's go ahead and do a -2 right there. Tropopause. Is it that low? There's no way it can be that low. Is it really? Doesn't tell me on SimBrief, huh? I'm sure it does on the winds page. We'll leave it at 2951. That seems kind of low. I guess it is wintertime. So that's set. Denver, we have a auto ATC PDC situation here. We've got clear to Vegas, Connor 7, Werner, Zachary, as filed essentially, 343353 on the squawk. Cleared on the Connor 7. Does it give me a runway here? Expect 34 left. So let's go ahead and put that in here. We'll expect runway 34 left for departure on the Connor 7 out to Werner. Insert that. Can I show Denver scenery? Not really. I hate Denver Airport in life and in sim, so we're just going to power through and get out of here with it the best we can without seeing very much. Looks like we got the fueling showing up here. Check this out. Look at the snow out there on the grass area. I tell you what, if we're going to start boarding here, we need to go ahead and get the APU up and running so we can get the cabin warmed up. What are our temperatures? It's actually pretty, well, it's warm up front, cold in the aft. Let's finish the box and then we'll fire it up. Las Vegas, the winds are gusting out of the north. So, zippy, it's ripping. I mean, you got to be very careful. When that wind is blowing like that, those fan blades can really start to spin. So, going into Vegas, I'm anticipating one left ILS, and we're on the Chow 3 from Gap. So, Chow 3, Gap, approach via Rotman. I tell you what, let's go over here. Let's go out of Denver, lost wages. The Chow 3 has us coming down like so. And then we'll transition to one left ILS. We'll draw it off of Roman. Roman? We'll draw it off of Roman here, just so we have the extra fixes. That looks good. All right. That is done. Secondary. Let's do a quick secondary flight plan. We'll do Denver to Denver if we got to do a return. I'll tell you what, let's make sure our failures are set. This is a new livery I installed, so I believe I got to reactivate failures for this. Secondary, if we're taking off 3-4 left, let's just come back to 3-4 left. I hate Denver so much, I don't even want to look at the Denver chart. So we're just going to do secondary perf, and we're going to put 200 in the radio. We'll put the winds at 0 for now. I'm pretty sure it'll be a headwind. If we do have to come back for some reason, we will deal with that. Magic Barrel Ref says it is 3018. 3018 is set in the secondary. Radnav, nothing to hard tune. Progress page. Let's put Denver in the main progress there. Perf, we'll leave it. Init B, we'll go to there. We're waiting for our fuel. Everything else looks good. I tell you what, let's go ahead and start the APU. We'll get it warmed up because it is chilly outside. -2, and it's blowing snow. So let's fire up the APU and get ready. Hey, Rot, good to see you, man. Denver has the worst charts. I know. Dude, Denver, why so much hate for Denver? The airport, man. I can't stand the airport. Hold on, is something... I thought... you guys can see the stream fine, right? Okay. My little sneaky, breaky intros on the stealth intro screens, I think it was bugged out, but I think you guys have been looking at the stream. Yeah, Denver, there's too many runways, too many departures, too many arrivals. The taxiways are too complicated. There's too many ramp taxiways, if you know what I mean. Like a taxiway that's isolated by itself, cool. But when you have a flat piece of pavement and all that differentiates taxiways are the paint and the colors. Just drives me nuts, especially low vis. I mean, it's exhausting, man. It's just a skill issue. Well, hey, you know what that would be, Steven? I believe that would be an ATP issue right there, career track. So if you were around the RJ stream when we induced a ton of pilot errors, I've included a new emoji now. Career track. No hate to anybody who went to ATP. I know guys that went to ATP and they're fine pilots, but it's just be a little inside joke here in the channel. Failures turned off out of Denver, so you don't have to return. That's a good point. I'll go to Aspen instead. Great weather for a walk around. Yeah, it definitely is. All right, so APU is up. Let's go ahead and start the chrono procedure. We'll do a little 3-minute burn off, constraint mode, VOR1, VOR2. There is terrain out there. We'll put terrain on ND. Well, we can't do it. We're not aligned yet, chat. You know why? Do you remember why we can't put terrain on right now? All right, so we did have an initial altitude we could put in the box. Expect 340, 10 minutes. Climb via SID. So let's take a look at the actual SID here. Denver, Connor 7. We get a climb via off of the 3-4s is 230. We have a speed restriction of 250. That should not be a problem. So we'll set 230 via the mini FCU. Beautiful. That looks good. We got a minute on the APU burn off. We'll stand by for another minute. Captain McGee, thank you for the $2 super chat. I love DIA and SimWorld. That's the Detroit Institute of Arts. Yeah, we're in Denver, Captain McGee. We're not at the Detroit Institute of Arts. That's a whole different part of the country. I don't know what DIA is other than the Detroit Institute of Arts. 320 crew, what's up? Are they getting rid of who? Yeah, it's a cold walk up the rear stairs. This is we talk about slipping and ripping pants on the last stream. This is a high probability of pant rippage when you have a ramp like this, because you probably got glycol out there, you've got wet ramp, and just, yeah, not a good idea. Blowing snow, it tends to accumulate. So if you look now, we've got wind out of the north, okay? So let me do some real talk with y'all. This is some insider information here. This is something only advanced FOs know about. So we've got the wind blowing out of the north. We have an exposed jet bridge here. So what's going to happen, all this snow that blows in, it's actually going to start to kind of accumulate right here on the door and on this little thing. Now, these are normally graded, so they don't pile up too bad, but trust me, it definitely can. So you'll be walking out here. This is all kind of covered up in snow, and you take that first step, slip, you could definitely get yourself in trouble. But yeah, you've got a blocked jet bridge. You walk out. Oh, it's not too bad. As soon as you come down these stairs, your bones will freeze, man. Nothing like wet snow and blowing wind. Departure frequency is 2765. I'll throw that in the standby, ready to go. 2765. Nabil, save that for cruise, my man. We're going to have a good talk up at cruise. We're going to talk all about the Sharklets. We're going to talk all about handling characteristics. I will tell you that, yes, there is a difference, but we're going to save all that once we get up to our cruise altitude, because I want to stay on task. You know what I'm saying? Here comes 3 minutes on the APU burn-off. We'll go APU bleed. We'll leave the external power on. We are done fueling those, so let's go ahead and get our fuel tank pumps on. We'll we'll turn on the seatbelt sign. Double check our fuel is balanced. It is. We have a grand total of 16.7 on the block fuel. That goes there. Now, I have a question, a very important question. Can we do remote de-icing at Flight Beam Denver? So the real de-ice pad, let's take a look here. I haven't attempted to do this. Normally this would be something I would do on a pre-stream, but I'm not a pro streamer. So real life, we'd come out here, some conglomerate of this, and we'd go to pad 9 if we're taking off 3-4 left, and this is where we would get sprayed. So can I taxi over here and get sprayed? That is the question. If so, that would be fun. Now, I know we did that in Chicago on a stream a while back. We did remote de-icing. I know GSX can do it. I'm just wondering if it'll work here. You saying the Bravo pad, is that different? let's take a look at all 327 charts that Denver has to offer here. Ground charts, airport, de-icing procedures. These are frequencies. Here we go. Here's our de-icing pads. Echo, Al, let's see. De-ice pad Bravo. You actually did it this morning, Ian? All right. We will try it. We'll try to go over there. De-ice pad Sierra Charlie. So what pad, and this is like, gosh, it's so, it's like, where are we going for de-ice? Let me go back up. So this would be, what's the 9? So 9, this is de-ice pad Whiskey Alpha. So we'll be going to the Whiskey Alpha pad. You could see here, we'll decode the hieroglyphics. We got a 9, we got a 9. So this is de-ice pad Whiskey Alpha, which makes sort of a sense because we have Whiskey Alpha right there. So we will plan to go to the Whiskey Alpha de-ice pad, and then we will de-ice the aircraft there. So now that I know we're going to do that, we're going to have to get our actual checklist out, which is behind me. Give me a second. Oh, it's still charging. We'll let it charge until we need it. I don't have de-icing procedures in the Fenix EFB, do I? This is failures. I don't have like a manual here. I don't believe I do. Pilot brief, that's our other thing, so we don't need that. So let's go ahead and plan ahead of time. 3-4 left. This is going to be a wet. We'll do optimum flaps. Force Toga, yes, because we have contaminated surfaces today. Anti-ice will be engine. Packs will be on unless we smash that like button and get 250 likes before takeoff. So we'll do a prelim sync, and let's just do a pre-run here. Preliminary numbers are showing a flap 2, Toga takeoff. So I don't know if that one is modeled. I know for sure off Bravo November is modeled. Okay, so you're telling me there's a Bravo November pad. Where would be a Bravo November pad? Is that on the other side? That's Whiskey November. I take off 25 heading west. Well, we've got an expect 3-4 left. We've got an expect 3-4 left. Let me go back to, where's that chart? De-icing procedures, just north of. This is why I hate Denver. North of Concourse B. Right here. Oh, I see BN. So Bravo November. So you're telling me in the J pad or the C pad rather? One of these? Or they actually spray you right here in the alley? Will this really be the last stream? Yeah, it's going to be the last one for me, man. I'm done with Shark. I'm done with wingtip fences after this. We're going Sharklets. Whenever they drop. Well, that's lame. You got to park on the Bravo November line and get sprayed? Tyson says no on the pad only. This is what happens when you let chat fly your airplane. This is also why I hate Denver. We're just going to go to the real de-ice pad where we'd go in real life, and if we get sprayed, great. If not, we won't. We'll probably crash. What is it? It's not over. It's not over there, is there? I don't know. GSX is dead to me anyways. Key 6 here. Alright, did we board? What is going on here? Let me go back to, yeah, we're still boarding. Alright. You're going to tune into Microsoft first-party aircraft preview at Cruise. Are they doing that today, Infian? We'll have to see. I'm not sure. Man, look at the weather, though. This is like, I wish we could see snow accumulating on the aircraft. That would be pretty cool. Getting GSX is pretty much throwing 30 bucks in the fire. Jack, you're absolutely right, my man. But Key 6 is here. Oh, boy. Key 6 is the reason we had to get it. We had to get GSX again. I was living my best life with GSX uninstalled. It was great. It's all Key 6. It's supposed to be starting in 5 minutes. It's going to show the new 321 LR and 330s. Look, I mean, I think we all get a little too worked up about default airplanes. Like, we don't... This is Flight Beam, Captain McGee. When is the last time we've just loved to fly default airplanes in the sim? Us as PC simmers. Do we even have... I mean, the only ones that I've flown that have been default that I've enjoyed, the 747, but that was after it was heavily modified by working title. You know, the Innie Builds A310, but that doesn't count because they're a third-party dev, if you ask me. The 172, I haven't flown it. You know, Ryan, you say the Laminar 330. So, if you were in the stream, or yesterday, after I postponed the stream, I was doing a little Discord stream in X-Plane, believe it or not. I loaded up the sim. I wanted to see what was going on in the X-Plane realm. I took a look at the Tolis 330 Neo. I also took a look at the Laminar 330. And I got to tell you, that Laminar 330, as far as modeling goes, is pretty dang good. Pretty dang good. I think the default 152 isn't that bad, but it's obviously a simple plane, yeah. Yeah, Ryan. Is it hard to believe? It's hard to believe, isn't it? Alright, so we're almost loaded up. We'll get rid of the fuel page. Let's go ahead and get rid of you. Let's turn up the integral lighting here. We'll juice it up a little bit. That looks good. Alright, I guess we'll talk about our de-icing procedures here. So we're going to start up. We're going to do a 2-engine taxi because we have a wet contaminated ramp. So I would like to do a single engine taxi, especially in a situation where I know you're going to be waiting for a really long time. Since that is not a factor, we're gonna say, hey, there's no line out there. We'll be number one on the de-ice pad. So we're going to do a 2-engine taxi. It's kind of a toss-up there. They say don't use single engine taxi if you're in slippery ramp conditions. It would really depend on how the ramp conditions are at that time. So, you know, right now, if this was real life and looking at the ramp, it just looks wet. It doesn't look like there's snow, or it doesn't look really bad. So you could probably get away with a single engine taxi, especially if you're just going a short distance. But if the ramp was just covered in white snow and it was just absolutely coming down, 2-engine taxi all the time. You need to just minimize you want to have maximum control of your airplane in any situation, right? So having differential thrust could potentially get you to slip out and get a little squirrely. So 2-engine taxi though for this flight, we're going to taxi over to the de-ice pad if it's modeled. If it's not, that'll be really sad. But then we will shut off our packs. We'll configure the aircraft for de-icing. Just to review the procedure, we're basically going to eliminate all external holes in the aircraft. So we're going to go ahead and turn off the packs. We're going to turn off the bleeds. If the APU is running, which it will not be, we will turn off the APU bleed, but that won't be running at the time of de-icing. We will also press the dishing push button here, which is going to close all valves below the waterline, and then we will be ready for spraying. Now, real life, we'd get a Type 1 and a Type 4 because we do have active precipitation. So we got to use Type 1, the orange fluid. It's going to get all the slush and snow off the aircraft, and then we're going to put a Type 4 on wings and tail only. After that, we got some procedures for getting the bleeds on. We'll wait 2 minutes after the application, then we'll get one bleed back on. And then we'll actually, in this case, since we don't have to do an engine start, we can just reconfigure 2 minutes after de-icing has been completed, so we can get a little burn off there. Crossbleed shut too, yeah. We'll close the crossbleed. Gonna need to do some low and slow when the new sim drops. Yes, I know, Beck, I know. Blackbird Controls in the house. Blackbird, my man, how you doing? How's life, Blackbird Controls? We are still boarding here. Oh, we got a Spirit flight attendant, black and yellow with a gray vest. I don't think they wear those hats, though. Welcome aboard, welcome aboard. I don't have seated passengers, so I can save some frames. That's good. De-icing fluid, it stinks if it goes in the bleeds. Yeah, it smells acrid. We're doing good, Blackbird. We're doing good, man. We're just about loaded up. We got some de-icing procedures, and then we got to talk wingtip fences and Sharklets. What is the wingtip fence? So that's the current winglet that you see on this bird right now. So the original 320s, well, actually the original 320 didn't have anything out there, but this is their standard quote-unquote winglet. Looks like a Max over there, look at that. But this is called a wingtip fence. So you've got the upper and lower. And, you know, I think Airbus was onto something here, because Boeing said, oh, our Sharklets are better, or our winglets, the technical term, winglets on a Boeing 737, fences on an A320. But over time, what did Boeing do? They came up with a split Simtar to sort of mimic getting some type of pressure differential blockage on the lower side of the wing, which is interesting. So maybe Airbus was onto something all the way along. Now you look at the Max, that almost looks like an extended wingtip fence at an angle, so that's kind of unique. But then you look at the new 320s coming out, and they are all Sharklet aircraft, which is essentially a 737 winglet. So it's kind of an interesting thing to think about. I wonder, you know, I'm sure it depends greatly on that specific airframe, that specific wing. So, but I think Airbus was onto something early on with these fences here. You can actually remove a wingtip fence. It's a 6,000 pound weight penalty on a classic 320. Should you need to remove one, ask me how I know. Thank you to the catering truck in Atlanta. But you can actually pull the wingtip fences off and fly without them too. So you can pull one off, you can fly with one on, one off, you can pull them both off, but then you'll have a significant weight penalty. I believe it's close to 12,000 pounds. But you can do it, the airplane will still fly. They actually just bolt on. I actually asked the mechanic if I could keep it, and he's like, nah, we gotta send it to Airbus. But these fences are actually bigger than you may think too. There are no Sharklet out there, but they are still pretty large. But they pulled it off the aircraft for us, and so I asked if I'd keep it, but I don't even think it would. I mean, it would have been a tight fit in the cockpit, that's for sure. That's for sure. Finished all my de-ice classroom training pretty quickly, and definitely credit your winter streams for the knowledge. Hey, Towet Ray, that's awesome, man. Look, I was actually, there's some Chicago trips popping up, so I'm ready. I'm at the ready for the phone call, man. Give me 200%. I will go to Chicago in the snow, man. I know. Wouldn't it be a cool ceiling lamp, or like a tabletop, you know, or like an ottoman? I was thinking, how could you put it as like a little coffee table, like in front of the couch, because it's kind of low to the ground. Hey Jay, what's up, man? Good to see you. Infian, they're live now. Only reason I'm interested is the default is any builds are doing the 321 LR and 330. Well, let me report back, Infian. Let me know what you see. So, you know, any builds also did the 320 Neo, but in my opinion, that airplane is still targeted towards Xbox users, right? I, believe it or not, have not even flown it. We should fly that. I don't think I've ever loaded in to the 320 Neo from any builds. Oh boy. AJ with the $5 super chat. I hope you went to the alien basement and paid your tide to Denver's Lord and Savior Lucifer. If you didn't, I'd like to deboard this flight. You know what, AJ? Thanks for the $5 super chat. Seatbelt sign is on. You're no longer allowed to deboard. It's go time, my man. It's go time. Thanks for the $5 super chat. Yeah, Denver's got some weird stuff going on with it too. I mean, you got Lucifer. That thing fell over and killed what, a handful of workers when they were building the airport. There's rumors of all the complex tunnels and alien stuff below the airport. You look at the airport layout from above, it's questionable at best. So there's a whole lot of weird stuff with Denver. Weird vibes. The one cool thing, though, about Denver is you got a Lear 35, or Lear, I think it's a 35, or is it a 25, hanging from the ceiling, which is pretty cool. There's a great meme that, it was a long time ago. There's a pilot standing underneath the Learjet that's hanging from the ceiling, and he's on the phone, and it goes, "Hey, yeah, it's me. I found the airplane." Kind of like a play on the old Hangover. So, check your DMs. I actually know a few places where guys sell winglets, fences, Sharklets, and Boeing tips. Ooh, Thomas Ray, I'll check it out, man. It's not bad, just different, says Luke. Yeah, we'll have to see. Got to get back out to making throttles. I'll be listening up, popping in and out. Might grab the tablet and set up the stream on the workbench. Ooh, Blackbird Controls is hard at work making your guys' throttle for the Honeycomb Bravo. Make sure you check him out if you haven't already. Blackbird Controls, 737s and 727. The best, the #1 quadrant, or the #1 throttle mod for your Bravo quadrant. Got to pick one up. It is a 35? All right. All right, we're closing the doors. Listen. I love that. I love it. All right. We're ready to go. We got a company massage. Let's come over here. Let's do that. Let's go AOC received. Nope. Nope. We'll accept that. We got two jump seaters on board. All right, cool. So we are boarded, ready to go. We'll dismiss you. We will go to the takeoff page, or actually no, we got to go back to that real quick, and we got to send that to the McDo. So we'll send that to the McDo. Go to the takeoff page. Let's go ahead and disconnect from external. Flip the beacon on. Sync final load sheet. Sync live. Calculate. We'll send that. Copy that. 245656 perf. 245656 flap 2 up 0.9 no flex Toga takeoff. All right, windows, doors, and slides, they are closed.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Closing arm, beacons on, thrust levers, idle, parking brake is on. 4-star checklist is complete. Throttletek cam is not pointing where it should be. There we go. We got that up and running, and we also got our Cat 3 design. There is a sale going on right now for Cat 3 design. Check the pin message. Use code STEER24. Get 15% off, which is about $60 off. And he's pre-made some units, so they are available to ship as soon as you order them. And it's only while there is a finite number of units that he has made, and I don't think he's going to be making any for the next couple of months. So once they're gone, they are gone. I just put a picture of the Lear in the C terminal on Discord. Nice, Dyson. Nice. I got a question. McDo and the Fenix is low res for me. Low res. Unfortunately, it looks like it might be some type of setting issue. And it doesn't look very low res to me. It might be a setting issue. Check your display settings. I'm not quite sure. I have not run into that one. Had to check the Denver above you. I see it. Yep. Yes, you will. It's interessante. Do I need a call for push? No, he's gone. So center is gone. So now we got to do CTAF. CTAF is 24.3. Look at my radio stack again. What's wrong with my radio stack? 24.3. We're throwing it in right now. Denver traffic, Spear Wings 357. Pushing back off gate Charlie 9. We'll be taxiing to de-ice at Whiskey November, I believe. Did I use SimBrief? No, I did it the regular way, man. Are we still connecting the tug? What's going on down there? Does you want me to release the brakes? Oh, brakes are set. What are you waiting for? Do I have chocks on? Do you want de-icing? No, because we're going to go to...
Quadrant traffic United 2039 on ILS runway right, and we are currently 10 miles out.
Commencing push. Due to icing conditions, please stand by for engine start until push is completed and brakes are set.
Turn up the sim sounds as we get ready for push and start. We're gonna go to remote de-ice because de-icing at the gates lane. It's probably not going to work, but I don't know what special pads I have to go to. I'm just going to go to the pad where you should go in real life, and it should be modeled. If it's not in the sim brief, then it's GSX's fault. Denver had a German architect, perhaps? That one slipped through my proofreading.
On ILS 35 left.
Bomb Tech in the house. What's going on? Define soon or normal soon? What do you mean, 49? You mean for Sharklets? I don't know. No idea. They said it's Shark Week, right? So if it's Shark Week, I'm thinking it's got to be towards the end of the week, right? What is today? Wednesday? Thursday? Friday? If it's Shark Week, it's got to be during the week. That would be my best guess. Here's the thing. If I get called for a premium trip tonight, because there's a couple sitting in the pot right now, kind of standing by, see if they call me, because I'll pick one up. Are we going in the dirt here? What's going on? Better not push me in the dirt. And then they'll probably release it tonight if I go on a premium trip. We'll see. You better stop that pushback there. You better stop it. Stop it. Is he actually going to put you in the right spot? Wow. Brake set. Clear disconnect. That's tight. Those poor rampers out there. Jeez. Oh, RJ drops Friday. You're right, Tower Ray. Hey, let's see, what time is it? 12:42? I really want to do a flight to Aspen in the RJ. Do you guys want to see that? Might have to do an RJ if problem is I only have Northwest livery, so we'd have to do it in a Northwest, which would be not realistic. I guess we could use the Just Flight livery. Are the Sharklets free or paid update? Ethan, don't quote me. I think it's a free update coming, right?
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Is that another 320 out there?
Right is clear.
Wasaba flew to Aspen? Oh, really, Sam? Okay. Let's do it. I think we might. Alright, tow. Where's my pin at?
Frontier 2429, we just pushed out about the 77, we're going out with November 2
He's actually going the right direction now. Is that like a part of the updates? Alright, 2 thugs and a tug. Pin, salute. Let's go ahead and start them up. Engine mode to ignition start. APU bleed is on. Sounds are coming up. Everybody be quiet. We're listening to some really awesome start sounds right now. Shh.
Denver traffic, United 189 Tango Heavy, de-icing completed. We'll be taxiing to runway 3 for left.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Probably should have been monitoring our ITTs on that engine start, just because it's been blowing snow directly into the right engine. Let's do it from outside. So remember, the way that the aircraft was sitting, the snow was blowing right into this engine here. All right, let's go ahead and start 2. So good. Let's come back in here. Let's take a look. Make sure everything's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Gross weight 174.2. Checks. That's below our max. We got 2 good starts. Engine mode to ignition start. We are not going to configure the aircraft. So flaps will remain up. Spoilers remain disarmed. That is good. Back to the overhead. APU bleed can come off. APU master switch can come off. Engine 1, Engine 2 anti-ice will come on. Notice a slight change in the EGTs here. So the EGTs increase a little bit as we get the engine anti-ice on. We are not even going to do our flight control checks because we are going to go get sprayed first. So let's go ahead and figure out where we're going. After start checklist pseudo complete. Okay, so if I can't get de-iced over here on this pad, I'm going to be really, really upset with GSX and Key 6. I might just ban Key 6 if I can't get sprayed on pad 9. Alright. Taxi lights coming on. Brakes are released. I'm going to remind myself, I'm going to leave that down, that we need to do all our after start. Let's go. Key 6, speaking of the devil, thank you for the $5 super chat, my man. He says, I tried to get on a flight. My friend was piloting on Masaba, but she bid on the wrong flight. Oh man, I have to tell you another story about her offline. That sounds intriguing, Key 6. Thanks for the $5 super chat, my man. And thanks for the headache that is GSX. Appreciate you. We'll chat later, man. We'll see you, dude. Thank you so much for that super chat. Alright, we are on our way. Let's go ahead and get a brake check in here. Brake check. Pressure 0. Well, that was aggressive. Didn't need to do it that hard. Oh, it almost seems like, look at my N1s are hanging. So we actually have some hung N1s here. So let's go ahead and stop. Ramp, spare wings 357. We need to hold position here. We gotta work on something. Spare 357, roger. Right, let me get my ice shedding procedure out real quick. I haven't done this in a long time. Because we got to be able to taxi over there. If we don't, I mean, hopefully we don't need heating. So this is not a proper 3. Hold on, I got to change this to a CEO IAE, right? I'm trying to get the right engine selected because I want to actually go over. It's like 60 or 40% depending on the engine, I believe. I think 60 is for the Neo. Ice shedding procedure.
Denver traffic, United 189
All right,
Tango
ground
Heavy,
surface area is checked. ATC notified. Parking brake is on. Special attention to aircraft movement during this procedure. If during thrust increase the aircraft starts to move, immediately retard the thrust levers to idle. All right, thrust levers 50%, 1.05 EPR. No hold time, retard. Repeat procedure as intervals no longer than 15 minutes, or if engine vibration increases, SOP taxi resume. So let's go ahead and go to the engine page here real quick. We might have already hosed ourselves sitting at that gate for 2 hours. Let's go ahead and increase power slowly, 1.05 EPR. We're not going to get it. I'm just curious now. Look where I'm at. I'm at climb thrust essentially to get 1.05. Our vibes. Look at our vibes. Vibes are coming down. No, they're not. They're all over the place. I think we're hosed. We should have done the engine heaters at the gate. That's crazy, because I had the airplane sitting there for almost an hour. Come on, baby. Look at those vibes. Vibes are going up. Yeah, we're not getting it. Oh, you wouldn't do this. I'm testing now at for. Oh, geez, here we go. Okay, you would not do that in real life, obviously. I just want to see. I didn't want to go back to the gate. So let's go ahead and clear this. Let's clear that. This is just going to eliminate us going back to the gate here. But that's awesome. All right, let's see if we can get it. Looks like we broke it free. Definitely wouldn't want to be flying with that. All right, let's do a proper procedure here. 1.05 minimum, or 50% N1. So let's take the higher value. Let's go 50% N1. And we'll restart everything. We'll restart the chrono. Give me a solid 15 seconds here. Engine vibes are back to normal. So we broke it off. Of course, we're monitoring where we're going here. We don't want to be sliding. All right. Bring it back to idle. We'll continue taxi. All right. Restart the chrono. At minimum, it says 15 minutes. So now we can go. Hopefully we didn't damage our airplane. Hopefully Fenix didn't model like, now I'm missing, you know, we've got chunks of metal missing out of our N1 fan. Why aren't we moving? Let's go. No, Gus, 60% N1 is on the Pratt & Whitney. The V2500 is 50% or 1.05 EPR, whichever is greater, according to my book. Jack, so what happened is I loaded into the sim a little over, it was longer than normal, about an hour prior, maybe even a few minutes prior to that. So the airplane was sitting at the gate with snow blowing directly into the engines. Now, hopefully you would see this on a walk around. So the FO would come back up and be like, "Hey, you know, I see a lot of ice on the fan blades." Then we'd have to deal with it then. But obviously we can't really see that. So when we tried to taxi, we had no N1s. But that was really cool. That's the first time I've seen that in the sim. I know it's been modeled, but it's the first time that I've seen it actually happen to me. Now, of course, if I couldn't get any 1.05, like in real life there, if that happened, we'd have to go back to the gate and handle that. I just went to Toga because I'm like, well, what if I just go to Toga and rip everything off? The obvious reason being you wouldn't do that in real life because, number one, you don't want to go Toga with your parking brake set on a slippery ramp, number one. Number two, you go Toga, where's all that ice going? It's going into the cowling, it's going into the engine, which the engine is fine ingesting ice. I mean, it'll chop it up, but it's just not a good idea. It's not recommended, and that's not the SOP. So you would have to go back to the gate, either do engine heating or have to get somebody out there with a little rag and start cleaning the blades off. Which I actually did that in the citation. We came out to the ramp in Centennial, actually, and the engines were just covered. There was snow. You couldn't even see the fan blades. A blizzard came in overnight, and it was just not good. So had to dig it out, dig all the snow out of the engine, and then when the sun came up, make sure everything was good, and then we were all right. But it did add a significant delay. All right, we are Juliet's. We're going to go Foxtrot Whiskey Alpha to spot 9. Denver traffic, Xperia Wings 357. We're going to be taking Foxtrot Whiskey Alpha, spot 9 for de-ice, Denver traffic. Chipped fan blades, yeah, not good. Not good. What would you have done at the gate had it been noticed? Bo, you would have taken care of it at the gate. Call ground crew, or you couldn't even get it. It depends on the airport services, where you can get engine air heating. They'll come and stick a hairdryer and melt everything off. It would really depend on how bad the situation was. Is it just, are your fan blades? That's one thing that you check. Here comes, this is Gulf. We're going to take Foxtrot, which is the outer. So we'll take Foxtrot down. One thing that you want to do as a first officer is you want to make sure that the fan blades are freely spinning. So if you say you have an early morning report time and it's freezing cold outside, what you always are supposed to do is stick your hand on that fan blade and rotate it. Make sure it's rotating freely, because if it's not, it can become frozen in place. Now, you'll probably see a hot ITT on engine start. It just really depends on how frozen it actually is. But that's one thing you want to do, is you always got to go and make sure the fan blade is freely spinning, especially in freezing conditions. Now, when we were sitting at the gate, that fan blade was ripping because of the wind. So I don't know that you could model around that. I think if that was a real world scenario with the wind blowing as hard as it was, that fan blade spinning around like that might have kept from locking up. But we had a lot of ice. That was a lot of ice on that airplane, on those engines. To not be able to break it free. I've had this one, and I had it in Chicago 1 or 2 times, and it was like, 1.05 was more than enough to shed the ice and cease the vibrations. So to not even get to 1.05 before climb, those puppies were jacked up. AJ, thanks for the $3 super chat, man. Italian tune-up, a rev it up. Hey, AJ, this one's just for you. Thanks for the $3 super chat. Check this rev. Sounds a little delayed to me. Might have to do another. One. I'm really hoping de-icing is going to work over here, because if not, I have a feeling we've got too much ice on our airplane. So we're at 5 minutes on the clock. What were you doing there after push? I wasn't listening. Nick and Nate, wind it back, man. We had to do an ice shedding procedure. We got a Frontier. Are they getting sprayed over there? Those guys might be getting sprayed. Is that where I need to go to get sprayed? We'll go over here to the real spray pad. Looking forward to all the Fenix drivers rejecting takeoff during winter. Yes. Yep. Exactly, Joe Plains. All right, here comes a Whiskey Alpha. Spray Wings 357 contact Iceman on 22.8. Over to Iceman 22.8.
And Denver traffic, Frontier Freight flight.
Frontier Freight?
2429, we're going to take Golf Alpha Alpha Whiskey Alpha down to runway 34 left. Denver traffic.
November 586, November Kilo, Iceman. This is 586, November Kilo. Go ahead. Hey, from Iceman, go ahead, enter left side, come to the stop bar on the right. Advise aircraft is ready for de-icing. So I think I should have came in the other direction, now that I think about it. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here and we're going to spin it around towards where that Texaco truck is. We kind of came in here backwards. If you look at the actual de-icing chart, it'll tell you the entry procedures. I flubbed that one up. Iceman on Unicom, that's nice. Isn't that nice? We'll cut across the path since there's nobody here. (586) November Kilo, proceed to the far lane. Advise when ready. We'll let them know. And actually, ooh, I can use my fancy holdover. I've got the HOTS app. Haven't used it since last winter? Matter of fact, it was in Chicago. Joe Plains, I think it was in Chicago last time I de-iced, now that I think about it. Huey Farm, I wish you could see it. I don't believe you can, though. Alright, let's take this middle lane here. Alright, pro captain move here. Wrong direction. Let's cool the cabin a little bit because we're going to be without air conditioning here for a while. And I know it's cold outside, but when you've got 230 people back there, it gets warm fast. So, and warm airplanes make people sick. Brake set. Configure for de-ice. Alright, so configuring for de-icing. We're going to go pack 1, pack 2, engine bleed 1, engine bleed 2. Ditching push button is pressed. Cross bleed is shut. Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, just a quick update here. We're going to be getting sprayed from the de-ice trucks here momentarily. We do apologize for this slight delay, but it should only take about 5 minutes or so. We know the airplane might get a little bit warm. That's just due to us having to shut off the external air coming in as they're spraying the aircraft. So we'll get it cooled down as soon as we can after we get our de-icing complete. Thank you for your patience, and I'll be back with you shortly. Iceman, the 586. 586, Iceman, go ahead. 586 November Kilo A321. Engines running, APU off. Parking brake is set. We are ready to receive the ice. 586 from Iceman. Roger, standby. Oh, what? I can't do... What? Son of a gun. Tell you what, let's do this. Let's go Fenix goat mode right here. If I can remember how to do it. Menu, maintenance, ground service, APU quick start. Boom. Engine 1, engine 2. What? Are you kidding me? You've got to be kidding me. I freaking hate GSX. We did all that and just shut down in the ice pad. GSX is dead to me. I'm uninstalling it right now. What an absolute L. No settings here or anything like that. Absolute L for GSX. Wait, hold on. Stand by. Hey! Wait. We got it. We got it. We got it. I take back everything I said. Ice trucks are apparently coming. Eastern T3 says, if you want quality stuff, you have to pay. I was a bit skeptical how much a tiller would add, but it's improved my taxiing so much. Eastern T3, absolutely, man. Having the tiller is awesome. Not only does you get to use it while taxiing, like the 320, I mean, it works on all airplanes, right? So any airliner that you fly in the sim is going to be using a tiller. Airliners don't taxi by rudder pedal, so it adds a whole nother level of immersion. Hey, yeah, we're doing flight type 4, 1 and 4. Josh Federer, click the pinned message at the top. Use code STEER24. Here we go. Here comes Joe Plains right here. Look at the light. That's cool. It sucks that the engines have to be shut off, though. Marcus, yeah, it all depends on type. Oh, speaking of, let me do my hot, let me see if I can, this is good practice for me. So hot table, hot calculator, time of request. Hold on, I gotta start. Hot calculator. Reset from the last time I used it. Oh, I don't have any service in here. It's not gonna, I think I have to have, can I just put it in airplane mode? Got to be connected to a network. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So I would plug in the data. So it's kind of what it looks like. So you put in your location. It'll pull the weather. It'll pull everything. It's got to be connected to a network though, and I'm not connected in here. And in my HQ, I don't have any Wi-Fi. It's directly hardwired. So it would pull all the data and it would start a hot calculator for me so you don't have to worry about the expiration time. It's all done for you. It gives you a nifty countdown and everything. Because right now we'd have to know the intensity level and we would start the clock.
Fluid type 4. Concentration at 100%. I'm disconnecting. Good day.
All right, we're going to start engines. Iceman 586, copy deicing complete. You're clear to start engines. And taxi when ready. Roger. All right, that's normal. All right, so we have to wait here a little while, but let's assume all the waiting has been completed. So we'll go ahead and restore the ditching push button. We'll get the APU bleed on. We'll move cross bleed to auto. Engine 1 bleed. Engine 2 bleed will come on. We'll leave the packs off. And let's go ahead and move the ignition to ignition start. And turn in 1. Ian Woodbridge, thank you for the $10 super chat, man. Had the same thing happen to me today. I had no idea what was happening. Googled it up and fixed it. Phoenix has fan heating and ground surfaces. Yes. Yeah, so you can do the fan heating. I just wanted to see if I can break through it with Toga thrust. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ian, for the $10 super chat. You get 2 engine starts today for the price of 1. There's that Frontier taxi now. Well, it shouldn't smell, John, the way we do it. We do a little burn off and everything. But look at the cabin temps. Look, they're already almost 90 degrees. That's a little exaggerated. But, yeah, unfathomable. Phoenix is the GOAT, dude. You're absolutely right, man. All right, we got a good engine start. Stand by. Avail. Let's go ahead and turn 2. I know it's warm back there. I told you. That's why I made my PA, and I cooled it down. John. Well, hey, it can, I will say this. It can smell, especially if, I mean, if you don't have a solid burn off, or if some of it does leak in, sometimes it does, sometimes it gets burned into the packs and it will smell. You can definitely smell an odor. Now if it really gets ingested, then yeah, it smells awful, but we try to do our best. I want to, it's like 2 and 5 minutes for the bleeds. I'll wait as long as possible before I get the bleeds on. I'll get as long as possible. That makes a big difference. Because if you just go right to bleeds on, it's not good. You will smell foul odor. All right, there comes the start. Now we have to do 5 minutes prior to takeoff for flap configuration. So there's a good start there. Spoilers, yeah, out of order. We're doing flaps 2. We're going to be number 1 for takeoff, so we're going to configure now. You'd have to make sure you didn't configure until you were less than 5 minutes prior to takeoff. So I'll go ahead and start the chrono, verify my speeds here. Flaps 2.9, that checks. All right, coming up to the overhead, simulating all our timings have been complete. Packs are coming back on. APU bleed is coming off. APU master switch is off. Everybody's sweating. That is coming on. Iceman 586 from Iceman, go. We're engine started, ready taxi. 586, all ground equipment is clear. You're clear to taxi. Contact ground on 0.8. All right, over to ground. Then we do our taxi thing. But let's go ahead and do a flight control check here. This is important. So we'll do all of our stuff here in the pad. Flight controls, full up. Full down. I'm going to be up 0.9. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Let's go auto brakes max. Takeoff config is checked. And you're going system 1, auto, on, TARA. We got an auto squawk. Dang it, I forgot. It was 3353. Denver traffic, Spirit Wings 357 taxi and 34 left. Denver. Let's go. Taking a look at our vibes here. We're looking good. We still got 1.05 there. Kind of using that 1.05 thrust as a pseudo ice shed there just to get us rolling. Held the brakes a little bit. So what I did there, that's a technique that I've used when we're actively rolling. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna just do another little ice shed here. Just kind of hold the brakes a little bit, get the engine spooled up, let them get to 1.05, then release the brakes and accelerate, and you come back to idle. And now you've just done another ice shedding procedure, a pseudo one, just to keep it moving. In a heavy icing, heavy snowstorm, it's good to keep the engines moving. Especially right there parked at that ice pad, we were directly into the snow coming in the engines. I did see a cactus over there. That looked pretty cool. All right, forward call. Why is it so dark in here? There we go. That was weird. My integral lights, like, reset. Huh. Denver traffic, experience 357, holding short, 3-4 left, Denver. All right, we're at 242. Paleo, so if we just got sprayed, or we have a nice clean wing, if we extend the flaps, depending on how, now this is an SOP thing, airframe thing as well. Since we get sprayed with the flaps up in the 0 configuration, we don't have any de-icing on our flap surfaces here. So when we extend the flaps, we don't want to be waiting too long before we take off again, because snow can accumulate on the tracks and it can cause issues. So now I've flown other airplanes where you get sprayed fully configured for takeoff and then that doesn't apply. Denver traffic, Spirit Wings 357 departing runway 34 left, Denver. We didn't hit 250 likes, so we are not doing a packs off takeoff. We are not going to do a rolling takeoff. We can't do it on a contaminated runway. zippy because it turned to 90 degrees when we were getting sprayed. Go ahead and do it like that. Runway 34 left. Checks. All right, y'all ready? Denver, spare wings 357, departing runway 34 left, Denver. All right, all checklists are complete. Lineup checklist, take off, runway 34 left, confirmed. Fuel, engine mode selector, normal, bleeds, packs are set. Let's go. Spool them up 50. We're going to go ahead and monitor this one as well. This is hold the brakes, spool them up. Looking for normal indications, 1.05 EPR. They're taking a little, look at that, look. We got a little, we still got stuck on number 2. Come on, baby. Come on, unstick yourself. Ready? Yoga. Man, Toga SRS runway auto thrust is blue. Just gotta be patient. Gotta let her unstick. 80 knots, thrust set. 100 knots. We were in the worst possible condition for that as well. Like 0C, wet snow. V1. Rotate. Positive rate, gear up, fly with. Do you know what our engine anti-ice have to start? Thank you. Duh. That's why you run actual checklists. There's F speed, flaps 1, speed checks, flaps 1. So now we're trying to increase our speed here so we can get a clean wing and we can go ahead and get the flaps up. Because we got to wait for, if we need the wing anti-ice, we got to do that on a clean wing. That was an ATP move there. I forgot the engine anti-ice after on the second engine start. That's my bad. We don't need those stinking checklists. Wow. Got a little disoriented there. Denver traffic, spare wings 357 out of 8,000, climbing 10 on the Connor. Last call, Denver. Jeremy, the new Neos have that, they don't have the ability to turn it on, I don't think. They will tell you if you have the dual ice detection. Our Neos have dual ice detection. Like, we're so heavy, we gotta get through auto flap retract first. There's our auto flap retract. And now we can go, there's S speed, look at that, min clean speed. This Tiger Tail's gonna come up to get us. Look at the VLS, look at it, VLS shoot up. All right, we are a clean wing. Let's go. Yeah, wing anti-ice is on. Let's go ahead and say spare wing 357, you're climb and maintain 230. All right, so 23 is blue. We're open climb. We're not going to level there at foams. We'll go ahead and get terrain on as we get ready to go over the mountains now. Probably have one guy to be on radar right now, one guy to be on terrain mode. I almost installed Rex Atmos today, but I'm like, man, we're so close to the new sim, I'm not going to do it. I don't think I need Rex Atmos, but I've been seeing pictures of it, and it makes some clouds wider, but this looks amazing. Look at this, going through some layers right here. Oh my word, look at this. The layers of the clouds right now. We got a really dark hole up here. Jeremy, because their engines suck. And Boeing's a terrible aircraft manufacturer now. It like overheats if it's not actually icing. That's how I understand it. They're having an issue with the temperature of the engine when the heaters are on and they're not actually in icing conditions. So you got to be actively icing. Go ahead and restart the chrono. We're at a 10. We're Denver though, so we'll use the AFE. So we'll wait. We'll go up to about 15 before we turn everything off. But real life here, I'll go ahead and turn these off. Get rid of the drag and the vibration, since we're going to be climbing out at 325 knots. Keep those landing lights out at 325 knots. You will feel it, guaranteed. Virtual flight. That was you in the cactus. That's awesome, man. Love seeing that retro cactus. Alright, I'll turn the sim back down since all the juice parts have been accomplished. Sim is back down to normal levels. Pretty mid-departure here. Not much turn-in or anything to do, so we'll go ahead and... Oh, look at that. Let's go AP1. I'll tell you what, let's do some piloting here. Let's go ahead and select heading. Let's come to the right a little bit and see if we can avoid some of these buildups. I'm also going to select speed. Scroll it back, get a little better climb rate. Let's do 300. And departure, speedway 357. A slight right deviation for weather. Deviation approved, when able, advised, direct. Shabba shabba. Look at that. So what I've done is I pulled the speed back to increase the climb rate. Look at our climb rate. We're doing 3,500 feet a minute. Help us get on top here. I'm going to go ahead and do my second increment. Let's go back to 290 on the speed. That'll also help pick us up here. Come back to the left. Let's go 280. I don't really want to go below 270. So if your cost index, you're already doing 300 plus, you're in a great spot because you can trade that speed for climb rate. Get above some of this stuff here. We might just top out this one. We'll go back one more to 270 knots. That's about as slow as I'm comfortable going. But look at that climb rate. We're still juicing it up here. Almost 4,000 feet a minute at 321 just to get on top. We'll go ahead and turn off the wing NIIs too now that we wouldn't be accumulating anything on the wing. Plus it'll stay hot enough to get us through the tops here. We'll get a little extra performance in the climb. Sebastian Musha, is that a waypoint or a VOR? It's actually an NDB. Let's go ahead and do it now. So let's go direct Connor. Direct Connor. We'll take it all the way up to 340. We're at a 15,000. We'll get the rest of our lights off. Oops. Called the middle flight attendant. She's going to be like, why are you calling me? Look at that. All right, let's go ahead and manage speed. So at manage speed, you'll see the airplane's going to pitch down. Now we're going to try to get that cost index climb out speed. Magic Barrel ref at 18,000. We're above all the icing conditions. We'll go ahead and get all of our performance back. Engine anti-ice is off as well. Now 321, you got to be careful about this. So we were at 270 indicated. I went managed. We got to go 320. Depending on the current situation, you may have a really slow climb gradient here, and you may not make ATC happy. So you may have to kind of incrementally increase speed, but at least 500 feet per minute or greater, you're good. If this is hovering at or struggling at 300, if it's real hot and heavy, I might just do 10 knots at a time, speed up a little bit, do another, that way you're not just creeping. But this is fine here. We're holding a nice steady 500 feet per minute. That's perfect. I believe it should be 500 feet per minute. I think that's what it should target. I think that's the lowest that it should target. But trust me, I've seen some of these old 321s. They really dog out trying to accelerate. Moza profile, sad. Yes, it's in the Discord, in the hardware section. It's pinned. It's pinned in the hardware section. Now, I'll show you my settings too when we get up to climb. Because I think, and I haven't done this in a while, look at this view though. The Moza, I'll go full screen cam too. The way profile sharing should work was not working properly the last time we tried it. It would import it, but then it said it can't import these files. So what you have to do is just set the values, and I'll show you what my values are here. So you can just copy them down, screenshot them. I want to say I have a screenshot of the values too, just so you can set them yourself. Or import the profile. It'll probably give you the curve profile and the force profile, and then just adjust the sliders to match. Unless it's been fixed. I don't know. I haven't tried it in a while. I'm so close to ordering a Moza. Hey, Mickey G, Friday night. Enjoy yourself and order a Moza. That's what you should do, man. Dude, especially if you want to fly the Huey. I really want to fly the Huey again. All right, we are climbing out. We are looking good. Look how high that terrain is, though. I mean, we're not that high above the terrain right now. How does the tap probe still give you an accurate reading if the probe heating is on? Because the way it's designed, so it's still able to get the air it needs and not ice up. I mean, that's an engineering question that's above my pay grade, but it's just the way it's designed. Yeah, you'll get accurate reading either way. Why does the PFD of the Neo indicate auto brake setting, whereas PFD don't? Just added information, ASTIC. You'll also notice in the 380, and I don't know if the fly-by-wire does this yet, when you go to engine start, you'll get the engine start boxes, and that's just some engineer at Airbus trying to keep his job and stay relevant. We have them on some of our airplanes. I absolutely, why? If you don't know which engine you're starting, you don't have any business starting an engine. But when you go to start engines, it boxes this whole thing in white brackets. You can see that on the 380. That's also just a software improvement. A software improvement from Airbus. So there's really no reason why not. I mean, again, if you have your auto brakes selected to low, do you really need auto brake low right here? You should know where to look, right? I mean, and guess maybe what if the bulb burns out, but then you could just do the test anyway, and I get it. It's extra information. Nothing wrong with having extra information, but you got to be careful you don't get to too much information, because then you get saturated, right? Ooh, look at this. I love cabin views, but this lets us see the slopes. What is this? This looks like a resort down here. The IndyBuilds 330 looks solid. Really, Infian? Well, you're getting me excited, because I would love... Is it a CEO? Tell me it's a CEO. Tell me it's a CEO, Infian. The C-130J has engine start light and boxes the engine starting on the engine display as well as says starting. I guess you really know. It is a CEO. Ooh, okay. You had my curiosity. Now you have my attention. We need a good CEO. Now, I'm sure there's plenty of 330 drivers on the web that'll be critiquing it heavily, so I'll probably just stay away from that whole scenario. How far until top of drop? Couldn't tell you. Less than 600 miles, more than 400 miles. We just took off. We didn't hit top of climb yet. I'll take a look, Infian. I'll take a look, man. Seriously, I'm actually pretty curious about it now. I was kind of thinking it was going to be another, a pseudo light simulation. But hey, if it's going to be pretty... I mean, look, I'm all for it. Bring it on. But I always have a hard time, like I've said before on this channel, I have a hard time getting excited for freeware projects. Not that they're not bad, it's just minus the fly-by-wire, I can't really say there's been a freeware project that have just blown me away and I've absolutely fallen in love with them. There's been probably a handful over the years. I'm sure y'all could probably name a few, but it's very rare to have a freeware project like the fly-by-wire, Zebo. I'm sorry, I always forget the Zebo. Excuse me. The Zebo on FS9, absolutely. Absolutely. Zebo definitely. Zebo probably even more so than the fly-by-wire too, right? Well, it's been out longer, so they've had more time to curate it and get it all juiced up. I think the INI 330 is on the level of a good payware. Well, that's, hey, I will definitely take a look at it. I don't know if I'll show anything on stream. Did get a copyright slap in the wrist from the last stream when we showed the the Sharklet trailer. Wasn't a strike or anything. I just had to cut that part of the video out. Look at that view, though. Oh my word. That's real life. That's real life. If you guys think that's real life and looks better than real life, just hit the like button. Will Long, you're the Frontier? Oh, nice, dude. You're going to warm and sunny Arizona. Nice, man. Well, we're going to warm and sunny Vegas, so we'll see you down there on the ground. Mickey G. Hey, man, appreciate the super chat, dude. Mickey G dropping a $20 super chat. The legendary Dinosaur 737 driver himself, man. Or not 737, excuse me. Forgive my ignorance for insulting your lovely bird. Not the 737. 707, right? KC 135. But thank you so much, man, for $20 super chat. I'll fly a 319 on Friday to celebrate in your honor. Hey, awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff. Josh, I'll do it now. Let me pull it up real quick. This is a good time to pull it up here. Let me pull up Moza, and I will show you the settings. So what I would do is, what's my Moza? No, why can't I pull it up here? It's weird. Hold on, I gotta do a new capture, I guess. What I would do is go to the Discord. If you have a Moza, go to the Discord, go to the hardware section, download the pinned profile, try to drop that in your Moza app, see if it works. I think the last time we did it, what it did is it brought in the force profiles, but it did not set the values on this, which is what I'm going to show you. So you'll at least have the force profiles copied over, and then you can put in these values. So, and then save it. So this is I have work in progress V3, but this is pretty much my final rendition of it. Don't worry about this because we have it completely turned off anyway. You'll see at the bottom. But you're looking at these values: 80, 95, 41, 87, 0, and all the way down. And then make sure you have, this should copy over. This should copy over. If it doesn't, I will screen these values like this so you could replay and set these. The reason these values are what they are on the Moza is because the real side stick does not have the same force in pitch and roll. So we can emulate that through the force profiling here with Moza, so you can really get a real accurate depiction of what the side stick feels like. So clip that if you need it, screenshot it. Again, try to download it first and see if it works. I'd be very curious. I'm going to say it's not going to work because I'm pretty sure Moza's been updated a few times since I uploaded that profile. If I remember, I'll try to, if you're watching this on replay, I will try to repin a new message. Because I think if you update on the wrong version or you try to upload, someone doesn't have a matching version, it doesn't work. Look at that. We're getting past the snow area here. Super detailed modeled, quite good, solid cockpit. A 321 LR, really? Well, not to laugh, but I mean, unfortunately, I'm not going to be interested in any 320s. Look at that. What is that? Is that Telluride? Aspen. Aspen? Aspen or Telluride? That's Aspen, isn't it? Should we do... We got to take the RJ in there, man. We got to take the RJ in there. That is awesome. That is Aspen. That is awesome. Might need to bring my EasyJet 320 over to Denver to get on the juice. Hamish, so before we completely move away and talking about Sharklets, which we are going to digest the entire blog post, which is really exciting to talk about, just hitting on that ice shedding procedure. I saw a couple comments there when we took off too. So ice shedding, it does, or engine ice accumulation does happen to where you have to shed the ice. It is more rare though than just, it's not every time it's snowing you're going to have it. It's very situational. Again, it depends on which way is the aircraft facing. Is it into the wind? Which way is the snow blowing? And it has to be active precipitation. The worst type of precipitation is slushy, wet snow. Rain doesn't really happen. It can, theoretically, but it's mostly with a real slushy, wet, and an OAT that's hovering at 0. So if it's super cold, you're not going to get that slushy precipitation. You're going to get a nice powdery, dry precipitation. Doesn't really happen unless it, you're sitting the aircraft overnight, whatever, and it accumulates, and then it melts a little bit, and then it refreezes. Now you got a problem. But as far as airport operations, airplanes doing turns, going in and out of the destination, so it's not really going to be with dry snow. And of course, if it's too warm, you're not really going to get it either. It's a small window. It's a narrow window of environmental conditions where it's prime time to happen. And we just so happen to have, number one, prime time conditions. Wet, slushy snow, a OAT clear to that 0 or close to that 0 point, a wind blowing strong enough to allow, I got to go back over to Unicom. A wind blowing strong enough to kind of blow that precip laterally, and the engines have to be facing in a direction of which they're going to ingest that precip. So we literally were parked northbound with a north wind, wet slushy snow at a close to 0 OAT. Prime time condition. Now our first freeze was very bad because that airplane sat in that condition for about an hour. It definitely is going to accumulate. Secondly, on doing our ice shedding procedures, the takeoff procedure, let me see if I can read it here. There's a special note. I may not be able to pull it up because my iPad's going to die on me any second now. I tried charging it for the stream, but I realized I only had a small charger at the office and I only got 3%. And going through my manual set here, it does drain battery. Here we go. Lineup clearance before takeoff. A final engine acceleration must be performed before any takeoff to entirely clean the engine from de-icing. If engine shedding procedure cannot be performed on the runway due to airport operation, constraint, traffic, etc., ice shedding can be performed before the lineup in areas that provide both sufficient clearance to avoid jet blast, people, other aircraft, airport facilities behind the aircraft. So that wouldn't have been a great spot because you'd be blowing everybody on the de-ice pad back there. And you need a better friction coefficient. Notify ATC, do not perform a rolling takeoff. This is, I'm reading right out of the manual for this. After lineup, you can either do parking brake on or with brake pedals depressed. Pay special attention to aircraft movement. If in icing condition with OAT at +3C, no, that does not apply. It was below. So advance thrust levers smoothly to 1.05 if attainable, or 50% N1, and then a second attempt at around 60% N1. Be careful not to exceed the 60% N1 limit as you get close to the keep out zone. All right. Once the engine thrust is stable and vibrations are normal, comply with a normal takeoff SOP. Then we go to the SOP section for takeoff. We should all know how to do a takeoff, yada yada. No hold time. So it literally says too on the takeoff, when you apply the thrust, you don't have a limit. Just hold it there until you shed it off and conditions return to normal. This could take a while. And you may have been on an airplane in Chicago. I've been on one as a passenger once. We sat on the runway and I was like, what is it? And this is really before I knew what ice shedding was. I wasn't an airline pilot. I was just on a flight as a as a young kid. And I remember we sat there and it seemed like forever that we were sitting there with power on the airplane. But it really was, I mean, it was probably maybe 45 seconds, maybe a minute. And if you think about it, if you're stationary and your engines are up at 60% or greater for 40 seconds, that's going to seem very strange to a passenger. But that they were complying with the ice shedding procedure. That's the same thing that we would do. So there's no hold time. Make sure that everything returns to normal. If it does not return to normal, then you're going to have to go ahead and get off the runway. Maybe go try it again in a different area where you're not holding everybody up. If it's not normal, then you're probably going to have to go get it fixed somehow at the gate or figure it out. But I've never been in a scenario where we could not shed the ice with the normal ice shedding procedure. It's all been pretty standard. All right, that's it. So that's the procedure. That's why we were staggering the takeoff thrust on takeoff. Now, I think we probably iced up a little extra good there on our takeoff run because I just forgot to turn the engine anti-ice on right after we got sprayed. So that's on me too. All right. Oh, Ian Woodbridge, thank you for the $10 super chat, man. Really appreciate you. Jump seated on a 320 out of Enrock a few months ago. What is the name of the system that gives you selected speed? Managed speed. Managed speed is what you're looking for. Thank you, Ian. Appreciate that. Yeah, so to comply with the SID, you want to be in managed speed, which is you press in on the altitude window. All right, it's nice and calm here. Optimum is 35. Westbound at an odd altitude would be... West is even, so yeah. Thrust set's not... Is thrust set here? I don't want to climb up to optimum. You could try 35 wrong way. Max of 36.9. 36 would be tight. We could try it, but 36 would be tight. Going over the Rockies, I'm going to just stay here at 34. It's a smooth ride. Seatbelt sign is coming off. You are now free to move about the cabin. Spiritual wings, A321. I'm going to get a drink of water here. You guys enjoy a couple of views. These breathtaking views out of Denver. Dang. So Denver is okay to fly in and out of when you can't see anything on the ground because this is worth it here. Wintertime ops, this is pretty cool. I still don't like Denver though. Let me get some water. Let me calm down and we're going to get the blog post up. Are the passengers freezing? They're a bunch of sissies. No, you're not. It's 70 degrees. It's perfect. It's perfect. We have a massage here. Ground delay. Yeah, well, try engine heating next time. We wouldn't be delayed. Alright. Give me a second to get this pulled up. Will the Sharklets give you a higher cruise altitude? I think mathematically and theoretically, Andre, you could say yes, but I don't think it would be noticeable. But I think if you were to draw it out, like reducing drag, lift coefficient being greater, I think theoretically it would be correct to say yes, they can give you a higher cruise altitude. Is it enough altitude? I'm talking maybe dozens of feet, maybe hundreds of feet. I don't think it's going to make a thousands of feet difference. I don't think so. I could be wrong. I don't think so. But that's an interesting question because if you understand what Sharklets do, they increase the length of the wing, remove drag a little bit in certain phases, remove that induced drag. So theoretically, mathematically, you could say it would. East is odd, west is even, yeah. What's the pattern using to determine cruise altitude? Maybe it's a rule of thumb. The way I remember it is east is even, and that rhymes, and the FAA doesn't do anything easy, so it's not that way. It's east is odd, west is even. That's how I remember it. Because east is even would be really easy to remember, but you got to think of the FAA. They don't do anything easy. They make anything easy for you. I'm missing the Spirit paint. I'm not sure it made them go to bananas. Yeah, well, I actually think this one's okay. The grayscale is better. Now, what's interesting when you think about it is this is what the gray spirits were supposed to be. They're supposed to be blue and white. But the rumor, the legend is that when they printed out the livery for the paint shop, they used black and white ink to save ink, and they painted their airplanes gray. And the grayscale was born. So that's kind of, you know, that's the legend. And I believe it's actually true. So, you know, you step over a dollar to save a dime, right? You want to save some ink on your, because what also happened, the gray paint, and I know this for a fact because I've taken airplanes to a paint shop in New Mexico, and I can't remember the name of the airport. Not everybody, but a lot of people take their planes there, even foreign carriers, Spirit, American. I've seen Delta birds there. It's a massive paint shop, and I was doing a ferry flight in there, and we were talking about all the airplanes out there, and we got to talking somehow about that specific gray Spirit paint job, and that was apparently the most expensive and the densest paint that they could have chosen. So not only did they step over a dollar to save a dime, they stepped over a dollar, spent $10 more, and saved a penny. So because that grayscale paint just lasted forever. It had like a metallic mix in it. I thought it looked really cool. I wish it was put on their 320s and their and their other fleet. I think that should have been the #1 paint job. But then they went to the all white, the Skittles livery, which is was the most common, and then obviously now they got the banana buses. It might have been Roswell. You know what? It might have been Roswell. The specific speed on the PFD, so they pulled selected to increase the feet per minute to comply with restrictions. Yeah, Ian, that's exactly what we just did on our climb out in Denver. You know, you select speed, you climb up, get a little more climb altitude, or get a little more climb rate. Okay, let's get into the juice. Every time I go for a Cat 3, they're out of stock. Andrew P, are they? I thought, unless y'all scooped them up now, unless you wanted a different version. So I spoke with Cat 3 today, and he's got a select number of tillers that are in stock, made. Normally they are made to order, but because it's become more popular, he actually made a whole set of tillers ready to go. He's got half is the standard and half is the pro, or however it's worded, with the little hat switch on the bottom, which I like to use for view switching and just gives you some functionality. These updated tillers also have a new mechanism for the pedal disconnect, so it's not as protruded, I guess, or it's a little bit better seated and pre-calibrated, I believe. I'd have to check. Axes. So the thing with the tiller is it's not just a straight axis. If you look at the Airbus tiller, let me show you here real quick. Kind of getting off topic. We'll come back. We got a nice cruise flight. We're not even halfway. But if you look at the deflection angles here, it's not linear. Okay, so to just have a straight tiller axis, absolutely it's going to work. But if you want realism and the challenge and or benefit of this system, the way Airbus has designed it here, the movement is much larger. You're much more precise at 10 degrees, 0 to 10 degrees. You know, I should be able to move it in and fly. Yeah, so let me show you here. So I can be very precise, 2, 3 degrees, et cetera, et cetera. Now you start getting to 10 degrees and up. Now look at the rate at which this goes up. And it's calibrated to do the same exact thing on the nose wheel. So you got to be careful you don't snub the nose wheel. You got to be careful that you don't lock it over unless you really want to. But the way Fenix has their nose wheel steering, and fun fact, in the blog post when I was talking about it yesterday briefly, I saw that they mentioned tiller is going to be even more refined. So you even have better nose wheel steering control on the ground. It's even more enhanced than what it already has been. So that's a pretty nifty feature that I'll be looking forward to see here with Fenix when they drop this latest update too. I believe, hold on, speaking of, I believe Nobi at Cat 3 just texted me, hold on, or before I went live. He's got a new video out, with the 380. So he has a specific video for setting it up for the 380, which I will try to find and link too, if you're going to pick one up for the 380. The 380 is the first airplane that you're going to have a little bit of a curve set up in your settings to make it perfect, and Nobi at Cat 3, he's already dialed it in. So and you can save it as a regular device, a regular profile, just like any other piece of hardware. Does the wheel disconnect from the tiller once you raise? Yes, it does. It actually disconnects with the increase of airspeed, Jack. So the amount of nose wheel movement with the tiller is also dependent upon ground speed. So steer by wire, if you will. Same with the rudder pedals. Actually, no, I take that back. Not the rudder pedals, just the tiller. I want to say like above 100 knots, it's not even effective. Oh, the FO side's out of stock already? Man, you guys crushed it. Yeah, so I guess these FOs are out of stock. But yeah, if this is something that you've been wanting for the holiday season, something that you're going to use, I mean, you'll use it with every airliner you fly, whether you get the Boeing one or the Airbus one. It'll change your whole immersion level on the ground, and once these are gone, I believe the lead time is going to go back up to like 30 to 60 days or so. So just wanted to, that's why I have that pinned at the top. All right, let's do let's see if our optimum has changed. So we could go to 37, optimum 35. We are at 34, so we could go to 36, but that'll be 1,000 foot. We'll just stay here. What is our current weight? We are 167, and the landing weight, we have the old version, right? Oh no, yeah, so all right. Now the fun stuff. Well, it's all been fun. You guys been having fun? I've been having a lot of fun. This has been a good stream. Thank you all for tuning in today. I've enjoyed this. Did a lot. I feel like we did a lot there on the ground. Like that was a busy departure. I'm gonna set the view so we can have a proper wing view and go over this. There we go. Trying to set it so that's the view, so we can read about the winglet blog post, or Sharklet blog post rather. All right, who's excited for Shark Week? I'm surprised it hasn't released since we've been on stream. Now let's get the let's get the number one questions out of the way before we go through this. Can you feel a difference in the real airplane between Sharklets and non-Sharklets? The answer is yes, but there's an asterisk around it. So the differences between flying a Sharklet aircraft and a non-Sharklet aircraft: number one, your overall wingspan is greater, so you got to make sure you know your new wingspan limitations, which is 117.5 in the 320 series. So whether it's a 19 through the 21, your new wingtip clearance is going to be 117.5. Right now we're sitting at 111.10 at the non-Sharkleted aircraft. So it's going to increase, what's that, 6 feet? You get 6 feet of wing increase when you get Sharklets on both sides, so about 3 feet on each side when you get the whole blend in there and everything. What does that do? Let's talk aerodynamically about adding wing length. What does that do to the characteristics of the airplane? Well, the number one spot you're going to feel this or notice this is during landing. When you come into land, you're probably familiar with the term ground effect. Okay, ground effect is when it's approximately calculated by the aircraft is at a height that is half the length of the wingspan. So if you're 111.10, half of that is what, 65? I don't do math. You guys do the math. Whatever 111.10 is, 10 inches, 111.10 inches, cut that in half. That would be the approximate altitude, right? Approximation, situations are situational, environmentals are environmental. Where you would really start to feel the ground effect. That's where the airplane, for lack of better terms, kind of feels like it settles down. Again, sometimes the airplane will feel like it settles down. Sometimes, depending on the environment, that sucker may just plop straight down. 319 is real prone to doing this, especially the non-Sharklet ones. So if you increase the overall wingspan, now you're doing what? You're also increasing the height at which the ground effect would be felt on the airplane. What does this mean for when you go into land? Well, you're actually going to feel like you're carrying a little bit more energy, and or the dissipation of energy is not going to feel like it's happening at the same rate that it would without the Sharklets. So it's a little bit more slippery as you come in with the Sharklet. Now, V1, how obvious is this feeling to you as you fly? Best way I could describe it, we came up with this yesterday. I said, if you gave me 10 landings, and I don't know, I can't look, I don't know what I have out there on the wingtips, but I got 10 landings, 5 with, 5 without. I would bet you that my average, my batting average, would be about 75 to 80% right. I could probably tell you 75 to 80% of the time which landing, after a landing, which airplane it was. Was it Sharklet or was it not Sharklet? And the reason behind that is it's because it's not that obvious. It's really not that obvious. But in some specific scenarios, it becomes more obvious than others. The number one, in my opinion, would be when you are starting to get a little bit fast, or maybe you have a little bit excess energy coming down. Maybe you're a VAP or VREF plus a few instead of right on. You're probably going to feel that a little. You'll be like, okay, she's not settling down. I gotta have to hesitate here, hold that pitch attitude, let it decelerate. Now she's going to settle down. So it's again, small difference, minute difference, but it does make a difference. Now, over the course of a very long flight, the efficiencies of winglets, Sharklets, do make a difference. It increases performance, lowers the fuel burn, and that's why it's pretty much it's standard now. Everything coming off the line's got Sharklets on it. So that's a little bit of background before we even get into the reading here. Can you feel it? Can you tell? Yes, you can. Not all the time. There are scenarios when it is more prevalent than others. But at the end of the day, a 321 with IAEs and Sharklets is probably the best looking Airbus there is. Change my mind. All right. I get more excited for Snark Week. All right. Here we go. Hey all. So I kind of read through this yesterday, but let's go. Let's pick it up here at this out of the intro. Actually, this paragraph here. We'll kind of start in the middle. All right. So in reality, the engines remain unchanged, and so is the case here with getting the Sharklet mod. The aircraft itself is altered. It is, and I believe, I'm sure, I only read about half of this, but the wings are also altered slightly for this. Minor touch of lift added and a nip of drag taken off on particular phases. You'll feel the Sharkies carry just a little bit of energy in the flare, which is what we just talked about. Nothing you would particularly notice if you weren't looking for it. They're ultimately fairly similar to the Fences. On approach, once again, not dramatically different, but certainly if you are on the lighter side, in some Sharklets, you're going to want to get on top of the situation earlier rather than later. Light aircraft, good performance. You're getting fast. Maybe you're fast, you're light, you're above profile. With Sharklets, what did I say earlier? It's going to be a little bit more, it can be a little bit more work to get that airplane to get back in the slot. And when I say slot, I'm just going to, that's shorthand for you're on speed, at your ref speed or your approach speed, and you're stable. You're not, excessive descent rate or a lack of proper descent rate. You're in the slot. You're good to go. So if you're not in the slot, it's going to take a little bit longer to get in the slot if you have Sharklets in some scenarios. The flight model should represent these qualities and characteristics without feeling particularly different to hand fly in any way, thanks to the fly-by-wire ensuring the homogeneous handling. Where's Zippy at? So, yeah, you're not going to be able to tell if you have Sharklets or not when you're flying around a crew. After takeoff, you have no idea. You can't tell the difference. Unless you're sitting on the wings and you enter into some serious turbulence. We'll get to that later. To accompany the Sharklets, we've given the aircraft the requisite software updates that were deployed along the real Sharklets' entry into service. Slightly beyond that into a common software standard of this relative age of aircraft. Oh, they're going to take away some juice. Are they going to leave the 319 untouched? Please leave the 319 old school. She feels so good with the old like halogen lights and the orange glow. I like the 319 the way it is. Let's see. So they changed the 3 spoiler. Oh, hold on. Elevator aileron computers, 3 spoiler elevator computers, 2 flight augmentation computers, amongst an array of other system changes like the ECAM, fuel, FMGC, so on and so forth. So, again, Fenix never does anything lightly, right? They do their research. They dig. I mean, I learn more about the Airbus reading Amir's blog post than I do fly on the freaking airplane, like honestly. I mean, I know a lot about the airplane. I've been on it quite some time. I've got a lot of time in the Airbus, but there have been instances where I've read a blog post and I'm like, huh, that makes sense. I didn't know that because I know this, but now that I know that, I can put 2 and 2 together. So it's really fascinating to read through these. This generally ranged from fairly simple differences such as reduction in elevator deflection rate. I want to look into this more when on the ground. I have to check. I thought we talked about that where we go full up, it should stop at the... I thought it would stop at the ticks, but then I was thinking about the ailerons, but I'm pretty sure the elevator does too, but it does it on the CEOs, so I wonder if that's what this is. I could be completely wrong. Write down the new protections like the stop radar input, oral and visual warnings generated by the flight augmentation computers. Thank you, American Airlines. Rest in peace. If you guys are unfamiliar, A300 took off out of New York, and they mashed on the rudder, ripped the rudder off. So the Sharklets do actually shift the aircraft's aerodynamic center ever so slightly backwards during takeoff, but to keep the trim settings relatively similar, they introduced an automatic elevator shift on the ground to preserve the rotation feel. This is different for every variant and is represented in the simulation on board your soon arriving Fenix Sharklets. So very cool. So again, Airbus, you should understand by now that Airbus puts a lot of work, a lot of R&D into making these airplanes all feel the same to the pilot, right? At the end of the day, we may want differences. Oh, I want this to feel way different than that. This should feel really heavy. Airbus is like, I want a 250-hour pilot to fly a 319 or an A350-1000 and have the same type rating and be perfectly competent in all of the above. That's what Airbus wants. It's like they want it to all be the same. It's called the One Cockpit Initiative. That's why you see a lot of the changes that you're seeing with the FMS2 and the H2 and all this stuff coming into the Neos is to get everything closer to each other so where everybody's on the same page. So while it's kind of watering down the excitement of different variants and stuff, they do a lot of work to make it feel that way so it's just easier for the crews. Updated ELACs also include building in something Airbus calls load alleviation function. Okay, so this is what I was talking about with the adjustments to the wings. You can see this, not necessarily the laugh, but you can see when you have a Sharklet Airbus and you're taxiing out, you'll notice that wing flexes a little bit more just because you're adding weight to the wing, right? So you're adding weight, a little bit of length. It's going to flex just a little bit more than the CEOs. The CEOs are real kind of a stiff ride. And you can, if you're flying in a really bumpy day, you could feel the difference, I would say. Like the CEOs ride like a sports car. Salt Lake is on. You know what I'm going to do? I normally don't do this, guys. But I'm going to disconnect. Oh, actually, that wasn't even a ping for that. Okay, I thought I was trying to be contact Salt Lake approach. But I was just saying, I'm just going to read through this. I don't want to be on ATC. But you can see the wing flexes more. So now LAF, or the load alleviation function, is something that's installed on these airplanes. We'll talk about it here with what Amir says. So you wouldn't reasonably notice this, but this was added to alleviate wing structure loading. Adding 2 to 3 meter tall Sharklets, I don't know what meters are, meant the wings were naturally going to bend slightly more aggressively in extreme conditions. Absolutely. It's what is it, physics at that point, right? And on taxi out, I swear you can tell the difference when you're looking out the wing. What the airplane does, what the airplane now does, is deploy either both ailerons upward while in flight, or spoilers 4 and 5 in addition. So when you do that, think about what happens when you raise the spoilers or raise the aileron. You're essentially doing what to that wing and that lift? You're essentially killing the lift, right? Or you're minimizing the lift. If you are minimizing the lift, you are essentially unloading the wing. So if you do DCS, you do combat, if you're a fighter pilot, you'll know about, obviously if you're a fighter pilot, I'm not a fighter pilot, but I fly DCS, so I'm basically qualified to speak about fighter pilots, right? Just kidding, satire. To get the maximum acceleration, you want to unload the wing. So you actually want to reduce the G-load. When you reduce the G-load, you're actually preserving the structure. So not that we're flying Airbuses in combat, but this is kind of what's happening here. You're alleviating the wing from the G-loading. So by raising the spoilers and or the aileron, that stress on the wing is now being relieved a little bit, and you're preserving that structure. Now my whole chat box just disappeared because Chrome died out on me, so let me get this back up here. Let me go back here, here, here. All right, I don't know why. Never had that issue before, but Chrome is just all jacked up. So this deployment happens rather rapidly. Triple-digit degrees a second deflection. That's pretty fast. These are the sub-functions. So LAF 2 sub-functions are also replicated. The definition between a stable maneuver, where only the ailerons deploy to relieve load, and one activated in case of gusts and turbulence, where both ailerons and spoiler was represented fully. That is pretty wild. So Fenix has somehow, through their wizardry, been able to incorporate that, both sub-functions of the load alleviation function. This involved a set of computations to trigger the decision-making behind it all, and also involved building some small changes to new fly-by-wire to accommodate the LAF deployments in a complementary way. Inhibitions to this law naturally were considered and also implemented. If you trigger the LAF or load alleviation function, you're having a bad day. So it's unlikely anyone does notice. I should certainly hope anyway. So remember, if you get up to a certain G2, you'll also see the G load on the bottom of the ECAM. But this is for heavy turbulence. You know, heavy turbulence, the wings are out there moving around. If it's severe enough, depending on the computations, it is actually modeled. So that tells me we need to go find some severe turbulence and fly into some severe turbulence and see what this wing does. But the fact that we're going this depth in detail, come on, does anybody disagree with me that Fenix is not the greatest of all time when it comes to Airbus simulation? Are you kidding me? Let's continue on. I'm going to quit talking about flight controls and move on, but that should start to give you an idea of the level of detail, yes. All right. In other areas, we improved ground physics. So I actually didn't read this, but I heard about this. That's what I was saying with the tiller. So he says, we've improved ground physics across the board, and the tiller mapping from the real 320 has now been applied to the tiller input for Fenix, ultimately leading to what we hope you feel is a bit of weight to the entire taxi phase and across the entire Fenix range of aircraft. So that's awesome. Is my chat box dead? Are you guys dead? It seems frozen to me. Are you guys still here? Is my stream still here? Because when my stream does that like gray out, it like says I've ran out of memory or something for Chrome. Oh, you're here. Wow, you're all just sitting there quietly listening? Well, now I feel nervous. Okay, all right. I feel like, so when you're flying in the middle of the night and it's really quiet on the radio, you'll hear a, still there? Because everyone's like, did we miss a radio call? I feel like I have to do that for the freaking chat box. Still there? You guys literally haven't said anything for the last 10 minutes. You guys are wild. 400 people here. Man, if my wife could listen to me, like you guys listen to me, jeez. Just kidding. Love you, Miss V1. Hopefully she's not watching. Okay. Where were we? Oh, yeah, the tiller. Basically, it's going to be the best taxiing airplane in the sim. Just go pick up a Cat 3 design tiller while you're at it, because let me tell you a little secret here. I may or may not allegedly have seen felt or saw or I don't know what, something about this in the future, and I'm just telling you, it's awesome. So I'm just going to put that out there. To accommodate the relatively unique Sharklet bounce wing flex, we've decoupled the wing flex from Microsoft. What? Okay, this is why this is all new to me. I haven't read it. I haven't read past this part. So we've decoupled the wing flex from Microsoft and built a custom wing flex model, taking into account all the usual suspects like localized forces. The model does take into account the fuel tank fill level, whether the wing tip tanks contain any fuel, but in the 320 this is generally a very subtle effect, so it may not really be noticeable. This has also been brought backwards into the wingtip fence aircraft with its own bespoke tuning. Wingflex is going to be an ongoing project before we're finally completely happy. So, but it feels like we're at a state where it's worth delivering. We can deliver a better result than we could natively achieve, so we're shipping it to you. Perfect, so we're getting it. There's going to be a couple of rough edges here and there, but we're going to keep working toward polishing it up and refining the entire thing. So that is wild. So they've literally, we're not simulating an airplane anymore. We're actually creating a wing flex simulation within the simulation of the airplane that we've simulated outside of the sim. Straight wizardry. Straight wizardry. Hayden, thank you for the 2 pounds, man. Appreciate you. We're awake and hanging on your every word. Speedbed in the house. Thank you, Hayden. Appreciate you, man. Very kind. Okay, so on the overhead, now we have this on the 321, right? On the overhead, we've upgraded the ADIRS model to the more ubiquitous version. Oh, this applies to both wingtip fence and Sharklet. The old ADIRS model is much cooler, but will now be retired, and it is becoming very uncommon to find. Ask the 2 largest Airbus carriers in the United States. American United, very, 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 very prevalent. Matter of fact, every Airbus United has, minus the Neos, have the old one. We've also updated the ACP to a newer unit. Oh no, it's going to be the bright lights that everybody hates. This also applies to both wingtip fence and Sharklet aircraft, once again for similar reasons. We're looking at bringing the old ADIRS and ACP back as a panel option in the future. Yeah, now we're talking. But for now, the standard configuration more closely resembles the majority of EIS-2 320 CEOs flying around Europe, both with Sharklets and wingtip fences. Further, as part of the modernization forced on Sharklet aircraft but optional on wingtip fence aircraft, is the new digital standby instrument with the more features like Attitude, RST. Okay, so complete with correct degraded displays and functions. So they are changing the aircraft, it looks like. Pretty much. The old one, Spootsy, it's got the keypad up here. Now, I will tell you from a functionality standpoint, the new ones are much better. You can actually separate the IR from the AD. You can separate the AD from the IR, so you have more redundancy, and it's just a better unit all around. So there's no debating that. I just like the look of the old keypad up top, mostly because the 319 is my favorite one to fly in real life and in the sim, and on the airline that I worked for, on all of our 319s, they all had the keypads. So it's just a personal thing, you know. But I wonder if they're going to change this to the 319, right? Because they're not putting Sharklets on the 319. So that makes me wonder, is this going to be an option for 20s and 21s, but the 19 is going to stay? I'm not sure. We'd have to see what happens here. But this is a more functional unit. We can actually do a little bit more simulated failure. We could simulate the AD, separate it from the IR, whereas on the old units, you actually just use that whole AD-IR. So it's a better unit overall. But you lose the little cool thing where you have the track and STS and all that stuff. So here's the new radio panel everybody hates in real life because it's so bright, and even if you dim it when you're flying in the middle of the night, these lights are just, they don't dim well enough. So you take out a little piece of paper, you print it, tear it off, fold it in half, place it right on there. That's what you do. So this looks like they're going to get the new lights. That's exactly what they look like. As part of the Sharklet upgrade, we've also now added the additional center tanks. All right, time for a coffee break. We're going to get into ACTs. Classes in session. Cool videos. We are right now in the Fenix, and we're going over the Fenix blog post for the Sharklets. This makes me nervous that it'll be a while before it gets in at 24. Buckeye Fly. Yeah, I honestly have no idea, but here's the thing, man. Just at face value, 2024 to me, I'm really excited for GA stuff because that's where it looks like a lot of the improvements are in the terrain, the modeling of like the trees and the forests and all that stuff. So, and you don't have to download it, right? It's all going to be streamed. So for me, my mindset now going into 2024 is I am not even remotely thinking about removing 2020. I'm going to fly 2020 until 2024 is fully up and ready. But until then, I will still enjoy 2024 with GA aircraft. Maybe you guys said that the new default aircraft coming in, like the Indy Builds 330, look good. So maybe we'll be able to mix it up. We'll run both sims. I don't think there's going to be any problem at all. And if you got 2020 running good now, there is no reason to even think about removing it, because having these features and having this stuff in this sim, it's awesome. This is the highest simulation of a 320 that I've ever flown on a desktop. So I've flown FS Labs, I've flown Flight Factor, Tolus. I mean, we're getting into a whole nother level of simulation now. Systems are one thing, but when you start creating your own simulation for wing flex animations, for Sharklet dynamics versus non-Sharklet dynamics, this is getting wild now. It's getting wild. Gone are the days of just running an engine 1 failure at V1 and seeing if the ECAM does what it's supposed to do. Gus, the most incredible thing here is V1 is actually reading stuff. I'm trying, Gus. I'm trying. I need to get a little reading bot here. Okay, so going on to ACTs. I didn't know this was happening. So part of the Sharklet upgrade, we're now added the additional center tanks, ACTs. As an option to the 321, you'll have a choice of equipping the 1 or 2 ACTs, being a structural container containing a bladder about the same size of a cargo container. Yeah, about the size of a ULD. So you're getting 1 or 2 additional center tanks. Popular on the 321 CEOs because, contrary to popular belief, unless you're part of this channel, you know by now that the 321 CEO actually has the worst range out of the 19, 20, and 21. Same wing, same capacity, bigger airplane, more weight, more drag, burning more fuel. So you can't go as far. However, Airbus stepped in, was like, hey, why don't we sacrifice some cargo, throw some ACTs on there. Now you can take more people further. But here's the problem with that, and this is why the ACT is great in theory, but it's not the end-all be-all, and this is why the 321 Neos are actually going to be more popular, because when you put in these ACTs, what are you doing to your cargo compartment? You're shrinking your cargo. If you want to go further, people are going to want to take more bags because they're probably going for a longer time, right? So if you're going from Cleveland to Boston, people probably aren't packing super heavy. But if you're going from New York to LA in the wintertime, people might be staying for a week. They might start checking more bags. So that's where the kind of the limit came in. You had to see, well, if we're going to go further with these ACTs, what about cargo capacity? And you run that razor's edge, right? You know, a benefit here, a negative here, and then eventually we got the Neos coming out, and that's going to change the whole ball game. So let's continue on. The ACTs are popular to American and JetBlue, but overall the the long transcon flights that some of you may want to do in specific liveries. Yeah, you want to go Kennedy to LA in the middle of the winter with a 200 knot headwind, you better have some ACTs. Especially if there's weather in LA. We've made sure for American and JetBlue, at least the two most prolific carriers of ACTs, that the registrations in the livery manager are correctly configured with the correct number of ACTs. So no guesswork, guys. It's already preloaded up. That's a nice creature comfort from Fenix, as they can vary from airframe to airframe. As is with all things Airbus, adding these involved tangling ourselves up not only in the fuel system and requisite control computers, additional logic and valve control, but also to the ECAM logic itself. Yes, as a number of new ECAM warnings have now been added to support the full implementations of ACTs. The ACTs themselves have a fuel transfer logic. They're pretty much set it and forget it, and rules given, and lives in auto mode most of the time, all implemented. So as long as you don't have any failures on, you get ACTs, you're going to be bringing in, you'll probably be fine. You don't have to mess with your ACTs hardly at all. Run them on auto mode, it will burn, they'll stay in CG, everything is fine. When you start to have issues is when you have issues with the transferring of the fuel and trapping of the fuel. Now you run into a spider web of problems here. It looks like they've already simulated that here. So you got a transfer fault, forward ACT. So you want to select forward, descend if necessary, and then when it's empty, go back to auto mode, and then there's more to the procedure. Anybody remember how to get to the next page of this procedure? When you get the little green arrow down there, what button do you press to scroll down? All right. Crazy. So not only are they all implemented in auto mode, let me get the last part of the sentence here. Forgive me for thinking that it was something benign. Along with the requisite degradations, inhibitions, and manual control as required when you start trying to break stuff. I feel like that's a shot at me. I feel like that's a direct shot. That's all right. That's all right. I'll take it. Don't stand in the firing line if you can't take the bullet holes, right? ACTs are also available in our wingtip fence A321, as those airframes do exist. Yes, they do. Another upgrade applying to both wingtip fence and Sharklet is the weight variant change to the 321. Okay. Yes, it is the green arrow button. Yeah. Status. All right. No, clear button. Yes. How will a full-weight XLR be able to take off with an engine failure, especially at altitude? It's going to be spicy, Dev. It's going to be spicy. Are the ACTs transferred by pumps or bleed air? Pumps. Yeah, pumps. I gotta check, full flap. Is there an AC? Is there like a ACT option for Boeings? I'm actually curious. Okay, so ACTs are also available in our wingtip fence 321, as those airframes do exist. We already read through that. Okay. Given they're installed in the aft cargo compartment when opened and equipped in real life, and the Fenix, if you pop downstairs and open up the rear cargo door, you'll be greeted by slightly less room than perhaps you're expecting. That's crazy. So there you go, and that's what we were saying. So that's, you run into that issue of going far and taking all this fuel. Now you're sacrificing cargo room. Now, let's go on a little rabbit hole. Did I shoot through TOD? Tell me we didn't shoot through TOD already. Oh, hell, we're over the field. Oh, my word. We're here? Hold. Computed. We need a hold. Insert. We're not going to hold at 34,000. Jeez, I was excited about this. Let's go down to 250. I'll tell you what, we're going to... There's nobody online. If someone drops online, we have to disconnect. We're going to hold over pack, fly level 250. We'll get to all you. Everyone just chill out here. What we're gonna do, cost index 0. We'll get ourselves a hold speed here. Wait, did we? Why don't we have a cruise altitude? Oh, because we reset engines on the shutdown. Get the ATPs in chat. This is why. This is why I put the ATP emoji in there. Career track. All right, we're going to do cost index 0, flight level 250, just above green dot. It's a little bit spicy. Let's go open down to 250. We'll be fine. We're not going to stall. We got to finish reading here. Jeez, I thought we had 45 minutes to go. No cruise the flight level because you started descent. Oh, Amir's here. Hey, Amir, good to see you, man. I guess that would make sense. I thought maybe because we shut down at the hold pad, I had some weird thing with my integral lighting too. But yeah, so it zeroed out the cruise because we started the descent. Look at that. See, Amir's ready. Don't even listen to me. Wow. Now I'm nervous. Let's finish up this article. Where is it? But yes, I was gonna say on the rabbit hole. So with the whole extra fuel and all that with the Neos, and I believe it was the XLR, they were having issues kind of overcoming the same deal when it goes to fuel, but it also involved floor loading. So because of the way that they wanted to do the fuel tanks, they had to increase the floor loading, which then reduced the cargo capacity even more, which then didn't make sense if you were trying to run an all-economy configuration, because then you had more weight upstairs. So it actually caused some issues with the all-economy class cabins going with the XLR. So that's why the LR seemed to be a little bit more of a popular choice. But I don't know if they worked through that issue. This was years ago when they were telling us about this in ground school. But let's continue on as we hold here at this waypoint. There's our cargo compartment that's been shrunk because of the ACTs. Very cool. While we're talking about the visuals, Dave's got a few paragraphs on the actual Sharklets themselves and some of the really tricky stuff the art team have pulled together for this update beyond what you've already seen above. All right. Well, Amir, fantastic article so far, man. This is I don't know if you caught it when you tuned in or not, but this is next level stuff, man. I cannot be more excited. Sharklets when? When is it releasing? All right, Dave's here. Since Amir likes the sound of his keyboard, I'm going to keep this mostly pictures. Ooh, I do like pictures. I don't have to read. Like all my favorite books. So the big sticky up thing on the end of the wing, we put a lot of work in making sure they accurately represent the CEO variant of the Sharklet rather than those fitted to the Neos, as there's actually some subtle variation between the two. Okay, this is new. I don't know this. I did not thought they were the same. This also gave us an opportunity to dig into the LED lighting and really bring the Sharklet airframes into the 21st century. So I've been on the airplane for 10 years, and I didn't know that the Neo Sharklet was different than the fitted Sharklets to the CEOs. Crazy stuff. This is what I'm talking about, man. This is awesome. Above, we get a first look at what brings a whole new nav light. Hold on. A whole new nav light with accurate shadow casting for each system, 1 and 2. What? Okay, so obviously we have two systems, right? We have redundancy in the nav lights, right? So we got system 1, you burn one out, throw to system 2. We alternate pilot flying. Captain gets system 1, first officer gets system 2. So but this will actually make a difference on the shadow casting for each system. Crazy. The new feature for accurately representing the way housing illuminates around the LEDs is also deployed to the extremely bright strobes, which we've taken the liberty of fitting with strobe blockers, thank you, to try and avoid blinding you during night shifts. Yes, seeing that flashing up on the EFIS is not enjoyable on that A pillar. Amir's heading out. All right, hey, having a ton of fun, man. Take it easy, dude. You can drag the line. You can drag. Oh, wait. Oh. What? What? Do you guys see the difference? Can I make this bigger for you? Hold on. It's about as big as it goes without, like, getting wild. Look at the... So system 1, I don't know which one's system 1. System 1, system 2? Is system 2 inboard? I don't know. I forget. I think I probably knew when I was an FO and I walked around all the time. That's cool. We'll get the first look at what brings a whole new nav light accurate shadow casting. Oh, we were going to talk about that. So let's do this. Oh, we're getting rid of the Oh no. Please keep the halogens on the 319. Keep the halogens on the 319. You know what you should do? You should have one landing light halogen and one LED. Those are always fun. That is so cool. Okay, here you can appreciate the difference between halogen filaments to the wingtip fence and the LEDs on the Sharklets. Sadly, we can't offer these as configurable for now, as even when the lights are off, not used in Microsoft, just specifying them in the lighting config causes quite an FPS drop. Oh, okay, so we don't want FPS drop. I'm all for performance. We've directly swapped them to avoid any performance drop. In the future, if Microsoft gets improved, we'll be sure to add it another configurable option. Okay, so does this mean... Okay, so okay, I like that. That's good. We've got halogens to the wingtip fence and LEDs to the Sharklet. That's perfect. That's amazing. That's how we want. We want the LEDs. Yeah, they do look kind of cool with the LEDs. They're nice blue, bright. You can actually see a little bit better. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that landing with the halogens at night is actually a little bit easier. A reason for that is the LEDs are so bright on a lot of these that it almost washes out your peripheral vision just a little bit. I mean, it's the same is said about runway centerline lights. If you're landing on a runway with LED centerline lights, it's actually more difficult, in my opinion, to get a really smooth landing because you kind of lose your peripheral vision because everything is so bright and in your face. When everything's just a little bit dimmer, it's easy to pick up on those fine details and that sync rate, because remember, landing at night, we don't look inside. You're looking at the far end to judge the peripheral vision to see the sync rate so you get a nice smooth landing. So when everything's blasting in your face, it kind of washes it out and makes it a little bit more tricky. But that's cool. Perfect. So Caro says Sharklet LEDs. Perfect. I love it. I'm excited for that. They look pretty cool in the front. He's got a little Sharky on there. Is that a real livery from Airbus? Man, I love Airbus. Airbus is everything Boeing should have been. You know, Boeing was great American company, and then just went off the cliff. But this is cool, man. Like a little shark face there. All right, we're almost done. Breathe faster. Hopefully we took extra 1,500 pounds of fuel. Hopefully we don't flame out up here. Now we couldn't go through all this effort without some Sharklet liveries. Okay. Oh yeah. Do not fret if your livery isn't showing. This is a taster selection. Yeah, we got some great painters out there as well. So let's see what we got coming. We got Lufthansa, Wizz Air. It's funny. I actually have. So I obviously don't fly for Wizz Air, but I had a Wizz Air panel on my plane. About a month ago, we were in LA, and it was a perfect opportunity for a captain walk around. And I was like, I'm going to go walk around. So I did the walk around. We had a pink aft slide door thing. So the aft over wing, or I guess aft wing on the 321, it was a 321, was pink. And I was thinking, who was pink? I kept trying to think, who would have a pink emergency door or a slide door? It came from a Wizz Air bird. Condor, I don't know, man. This looks like a freaking candy cane, if you ask me. Lufthansa, got to be the classic Germans as always. Classic, boring, and angry. I like their old livery better. I think their old livery is the best one. I don't really like that one. EasyJet's got a cool livery. Swiss Air, they're perfectionists, so they've got a perfect livery. New Zealand is probably one of my favorites out there. New Zealand looks awesome. Don't know who they are, but that's cool. Edelweiss, ANA, JetBlue. Look at that. You can't tell me a 321 with Sharklets and IEs does not look amazing. Caro, how much shorter is a 321 than a 7.5? It's only a few feet. This is basically this is as close as we're going to get to a 757, y'all, for a while. 757 length, I got to look it up, is 155. A321 length is 146. So 9 feet. 9 feet difference, and you got a 7.5. Now the 7.5 obviously can do a lot more with payload and performance. Entire Condor design squad was tripping creating the new livery. I mean, it's unique, I'll give it that. Ooh, we got a mismatch. I like this. I love seeing this mismatch stuff. So you got a yellow SATCOM, yellow panel there. This is a cool one. Stand-up cancer, Medal of Honor. This might be our first livery we fly. I think we got to fly this one. Medal of Honor, 321 Sharklets. Spiritual Wangs, 320. The thank you Delta one. During 2020. There's some good memes on that one. Allegiant, huh? Interesting. More Spirit. Ooh, look at the dirt on this engine right here. That's cool. Love that mismatch. Frontier and Speedbed. All right, this is it. 106 Sharklet specific liveries. That's crazy. Bringing the total count to over 600 liveries across the whole Fenix package. Wow. That's awesome. I'll let Amir get back to the yapping. Last three things, and we got to land here in Vegas. The Sharklets should roll out this week. 24 hours after Sharklets rollout, we'll be closing out the limited time discount bundle. So if you want to bundle up, just do it. I'll tell you what, you're getting ready for the holiday season. Get the bundle package and get a Cat 3 tiller, because this is about to be real fun. We're about to take our Airbusing to a whole new level here. One last thing, 2024. Unfortunately, we were not permitted access to the Dev Alpha, though we did ask Microsoft. Well, that's unacceptable, which means we still don't have an answer for you on compatibility and timelines for adjusting to this new platform. Our intent will be to bring compatibility and stability first and foremost, and then at a later time assess the new feature set and see what makes sense. Without seeing it with our own eyes, we cannot make any promises or commitments to timelines and processes, but on release of 2024 we'll begin our due diligence. Wow. So that's very unfortunate. I can't believe that. I mean, probably the best dev group in the sim, and they don't give them access. That's crazy. Well, I am beyond excited. I think that's going to be a whole lot of fun, y'all. What do you guys think? Unreal. All right, let's land in Vegas, shall we? Oh, perfect. Let's go ahead and actually we need to descend in the hold. Let's just send down to 16 thou. We'll set up for this approach. Yeah, fuel below 6,600. We are bingo. All right, 66. We're down to 16,000. Thrust idle open descent. Let's go ahead and get this puppy on the ground. I am very surprised that they don't get. I mean, you would think that Microsoft. I mean, it's not like they don't know who Fenix is. They are questionably the biggest dev they have on the sim, and you're not gonna. They shouldn't even have to ask for it. It should be like, hey, Fenix, PMAG, Just Flight. We're getting ready for a new sim. Here you go. Start working on it. Throw your planes in there. See what happens. That's crazy to me. All right, 350 at 13. We're in the descent. So 350 at 13. Temperature 11. And the altimeter is 3018. Is set. We're doing the ILS 2 runway 1 left. Let's pull that sucker out. Let's go back. Vegas, ILS 1 left. It's daytime. We'll go day charts. Look at that. Being able to switch between night and day charts. Love it. It's a creature comfort because there are some add-ons that doesn't work. Or it used to work, but it got broken. 2460. 2460 is set. We're not going to activate the perf phase yet. We'll put KLAS in the thing here. Looking good. We're on the descent. After this turn, we should be able to make it in. Yeah, we're ready to go. Make a quick PA here, and we'll go. Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, as you probably have noticed, we've entered a hold here just northeast of Vegas due to traffic, and it looked like a 737 driver by the name of Wingnut or Full Flap Sim. He stuffed one on the numbers there. They're just cleaning up some parts on the runway, but that's all taken care of now, so we're going to be permitted inbound after this turn in the hole. We do apologize for the delay. We'll be on the ground here in about 10 minutes. Thanks again for choosing Spiritual Langs. All right. I think we should be good enough, so let's go ahead and select. I'm curious. Heading, open descent. I'm going to select speed, maintain 230. We'll do a tighter turn here. Spirit wings 357 when able. Proceed direct beeper, resume the arrival. Descend and maintain 2000. All right, so descend and maintain 2000 direct beeper. We're good. Let's go ahead and insert you. Nav. Beeper 12000. LS push buttons are coming on. Terrain mode is on. Let's go. Mo Abassi, welcome back to Commercial Pilot. Glad to have you on board. Well, this was fun. I really enjoyed this flight. It was awesome to have Amir here and going over that changelog. I'm more excited than I was before, that's for sure. There's a whole lot more than just Sharklets coming to the airplane, guys. Leave it to Fenix to never cut corners, you know? Con, 20 degrees down bubble. Dive, dive, dive. I missed the beginning. We took off from Denver, and it was quite eventful, so I'd suggest checking it out. It was a pretty eventful departure. Pretty eventful flight. Might not shove close enough to the mouth. Unrealistic. Sweet True Blue Lou. Alright, we're out of 18. Magic Barrel Ref 3009. We're descending to 12,000. Increase speed 250 knots. Actually, let's pull a Vegas. Let's go 270. Why does the 321 have so many flaperons? It doesn't have any flaperons. It has ailerons, roll spoilers, ground spoilers. Flaperons on a MD-11 has a flaperon. 777 has a flaperon. No flaperons on this. You mean what does Wingnut call these? Flap canoes? I've never heard it called a canoe. Flap track fairing is what those are. Yes, Kyle, it is getting the heavier weight variant. In that article, it is getting the heavier weight variant, so we'll be able to go 171-500. You can see here this is a placard from this livery, 171-519. But the variant that we have in the sim is not that variant. It's actually the lighter weight variant. What's the CTAF for lost wages? 19.9er. Vegas traffic, Spear Wings 357, 13,000, descending 12,000, set up for the ILS with 1 left, Vegas traffic. Amir says check the Discord. When Amir says check the Discord, I check the Discord. You guys have control. Cannot see what's happening. We're on full screen. Oh. Anyway, there aren't there many Sharklets out there. No, there's a lot of Sharklets out there, man. Matter of fact, they're all of them coming in are Sharklets now. Second stream today? Nah. Good thing we didn't do a sunset flight. I'll just say that. Good thing we didn't do a sunset flight. Spill the beans? I don't know what you're talking about, man. Spill what beans? I checked Discord. What am I missing? Tower Ray, no RJ stream. We'll see, man. We'll see. We shall see. Let's go ahead and drop it down to 10,000. We'll hustle down to 10, and then we'll slow up, and then we'll cut the corner here. How's that? Speed brakes are coming out. Okay. All right. So, okay. All right. We're good. I got an idea. I'm going to set the sunset down here. Actually, let's go ahead and slow down. Let's bring it back. Spiritual wings. Reduce speed 180 for traffic. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, which we're there. And let's do ourselves a little sunset flight. I want to see if you guys notice anything here. Can anybody tell me something different? Does anybody see anything different in this picture? I'm actually very surprised that this was not, yeah, there you go. So, not intentional by any means. Apparently, I have a new version of said airplane, and we're about to stall. So let's go flaps 1, speed checks, flaps 1. Yes, so you can tell here, we've got the new LED radio panel. See how much brighter these knobs are? Out of curiosity here, let's go dark mode. I'll come back to sunset. Look at that. That is 100% real life. Even when you dim these down, see how bright they stay? Now, you can do this. Where is it to dim? So that will dim them a little bit, theoretically, right? That dims the annunciator lights. But these two white lights stay super bright even when they're dimmed. It's kind of frustrating when you're doing those long night flights. So yes, we do have the new radio panel already. Apparently we got a bunch of new stuff in this airplane. You know what clued me in, Amir, and I noticed it, but then I didn't want to say anything because I wasn't sure. I thought I might have just not noticed it. We'll go flaps 2 here as we get ready to make the turn. When we were looking at landing weights, I came over here and I went to we were talking about the landing weights, ground mass and balance. I saw, wait, max landing weight 171.5. So we're actually looking at and flying the current upgraded gross weight variant. So our new landing weight is 171.519, 171.5. So we have the heavyweight variant already. Now, I would assume that also means we might have a little extra wing juice here as we make the landing. So we'll keep an eye on that. Amir's dying laughing. I apologize. I'll probably never be included on any stuff ever again. Look, I was just so careful to not load into a Sharklet airplane. Like, I was like, I can't, so all right, CEO, everything's fine. And then I saw that, and yeah, great. But it is, man. I mean, this is just absolutely legendary. We need to land before we run out of fuel. Let's go direct camp. Insert. Let's keep it coming in more. Let's go bugs. Oops, hit the wrong button. We'll go direct bugs, and then we're going to drop down. So direct bugs, you got to be careful here. 9,000 out or above as we make the turn. Jacob says, I noticed some better flexing on takeoff out of Denver. Amir says, the entire team is having a proper laugh about this. Don't worry, no harm, no foul. Okay, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Amir. Thank you, Phoenix team. Like, I'm over here trying to be like very careful with the words I choose, and I thought we were doing good. And I saw that light. I'm like, huh. We just talked about this being the brighter radio knobs. I'm over there scrolling in the radio frequency, but I didn't want to panic or freak out and give it away. But yeah, can't sneak anything out. The nicest leak. JJ Stevens says, thanks for the $2 super chat, man. Appreciate you. I was getting rocked on the approach to one left. That's exciting. Let's get the flight recorder ready then. Let's get flight recorder ready. We are all set up for the approach. We're through 10,000. Let's go ahead and activate. We're in selected speeds. We'll activate, confirm the approach phase right now. VAP is 144. We're 180. Let's cut the corner even further. Let's go direct to a Vandal. Direct Vandal. And you know what? This puts us on a good line. We could take it all the way out to, I think we can hit up Trey here. We'll be in the slot. Well, and this will help our fuel predict too. So let's go direct Trey on the approach. We held there for a little bit too long. 4,900. So right now, we're in a CEO, not a NEO. Pucker factor might start going up a little bit. You start to see 4.9 in pounds on a 321 CEO. Not the most comforting feeling. We are getting close to eating into our minimum reserve. If you look at us right now holding at flaps 2, 180, let's just say we're burning 3,000. I know that's more conservative. That's 6,000 pounds an hour. We have 5,000 pounds of fuel on board. So we are pretty much at our reserve fuel right now. Not the best scenario to be in. Not the best scenario to be in. You know what, Andrew P? I'm surprised that nobody started shouting that out earlier, looking down here at these. I mean, that's a dead giveaway. Now, am I right in thinking, we come up here to the ADIRS panel, now, unless I'm just confused for our real world birds, but I thought the 321 CEOs that we have, that everybody has here in the sim, already had this panel. But maybe I'm wrong. So you can see here, though, even if we're not, if you fly the 320,
just switching over from
you'll see here that these are now push buttons. So on the old ADIRS panel, so Amir says this is the new ADIRS panel. Very cool. Okay, so again, completely just blew up the NDA here, live with the devs in the chat. I mean, talk about foot and mouth disease. My word. Let's make it a learning moment, though. But you can see these are both push buttons now. So this is where I was talking about having the this is a more functional panel, right? In my opinion, it doesn't look as cool, but it's more functional. When you have a fault here, you can separate IR1 from ADR1, whereas in the old system, you would actually, depending on the failure, you'd probably deactivate that entire unit. So you have more redundancy, a little bit more functionality out of it, but at the end of the day, it still does the same thing. You lose the keypad entry. I've never once used the keypad entry. And you know, I always put it, you can see your time to line, you can see ground speed, track, wind, all that stuff, which is, I mean, it's cool to look at, and I think it looks cool, but you don't really need all that up there, right? So that is the new ADIRS panel that we talked about in the briefing as well. All right, we're down to 7,000 feet. We'll go ahead and we're 24 miles from the local standby. Vegas traffic, Spirit Wings 357 out of 9,000, direct to Trey. About 8 miles southeast of Trey, we're setting up for the ILS, 1 left of Vegas traffic. I do see somebody out here. If he shoots in to join, we may have to either speed up or sidestep to one right.
Traffic, ProFlight 777 is 1 mile from Zimpy.
Where's Zimpy?
Just descending into 9,000. I have traffic in sight. I'm going to go ahead and veer to the right here. I have traffic coming up here, just to the west. You see me?
Yeah, we got you on TCAS. If you want, we can just sidestep to 1 right if that makes it easier for you.
All right, that will work, sir.
All right.
Continue on the 1 left on the ILS then.
Okay, we'll sidestep runway 1 right, Vegas traffic. Yeah, we got you in sight now. Thanks. All right, let's do a quick since we cut that guy off. We're going to go heading, slight right turn. This is where you need 2 people. Arrival. We're going to do the RNAV. 1 right. RNAV 1 right, no star, approach via, no via, insert, and let's take it direct to FEBET. Direct FEBET, insert. We no longer need the LS push buttons. Those are coming off. We'll do an LNAV, VNAV approach. Whoa. There was our nav. We can go ahead and arm it now. So we've got app nav, final is blue. We're descending to, we can make this 6,000 feet. We're 180. Just confirm I did hit this. I did. And Vegas traffic, Spirit Wings 357 out of 7,800. 5 from FEBET for the RNAV 1 right approach, Vegas traffic. All right. We're looking good now. I'm curious. Should we get fancy on it? Does this do the... You guys want to do an FLS? We've done FLS before. Let's do an old school LNAV, VNAV. Brick in the stick, fly with the bird. Runways off our nose there. AJ Funari, thank you for the $3 super chat, man.
Traffic, ProFlight 777, 3 miles from Rome.
ProFlight clearly not as cool as career
1
track.
left. Vegas traffic.
Hey, man. Yeah, that was... so we've had... Good thing I made that new emoji today, because we've had a handful of career track scenarios. All right, lights are all on. Now we still have the halogens, so We didn't blow that up. That's cool. Look at that. Look at the visuals on this thing, though, man. If Fenix makes a 340-600, I'd pay $100. I think a lot of us would. Oh, yeah. Hand cam. Oh, did you see a little wing flex out there? Who saw that wing flex out there? Looks a little extra juicy. I'll make sure recording is on. Let's start the recording. Now, wing flex simulation, probably, I'm not sure if it's been through the recording testing, but we'll test it out here. All right, we're flaps 2 180. The touchdown zone elevation. This is slightly steeper. We're going to configure early, but I know it's the ILS. 2176, 4,000 feet. Do a magic barrel ref update. 3015 is the new meter.
2,500.
Turn and final in Vegas. Good night. Look at that. That looks awesome. You want G's? Oh yeah, we'll start G's. We're up and running. Oh, you're on the new landing model, so it's not going to feel the same either. Ooh. Okay, so let's not screw up the landing. Let's see how the new landing model. Now, so I guess they've adjusted it because we still have the fences. I'll be curious to see how this handles here. Let's go ahead and hand fly this in, shall we? I didn't bind my autopilot on I gotta do that after the stream. Alright, autopilot's off. Runway is in sight. What we're going to do is go flight directors off. Give me the bird. Bird's in chat. Manage speed. Gear down. Speed brakes are armed. VFE next -10. We're there. Flaps 3. They are less floaty. Winglets.
Vegas traffic. ProFlight 777. Establish 1 left. Vegas.
So Amir's saying that the 321s were a little too floaty, so now they're less floaty. Okay. Yeah, we were saying it was definitely a butter machine. Flaps full. Look at the wings out there. I saw a little wobble too. Oh, I'm excited now. Let's not screw this up. All right, cabin signs are on. Landing checklist. Cabin crew advised auto thrust is speed. Auto brakes are off. ECAM memo. Landing all green. Landing checklist is complete. Las Vegas traffic. Spare wings 357. About 5 mile final. Runway 1 right. Vegas. I see somebody opposite direction in Vegas down there. I think he's departing. Yep, flight director's off. LSs are off. Yeah, we're doing a hand flown RNAV right now. I was going to do the FLS, but we did that last time. That looks so beautiful. All right. No pressure. We have the replay to watch, so let's try to get a decent landing here. Looks like that traffic is clear of the runway. I'm going to leave the auto thrust on, see how she handles too. Miles Johnson, yeah, the FLS will turn your RNAV approach into a pseudo ILS approach. So you have similar symbology, except it'll be magenta. You have F slope. F slope.
For runway 1 left, Vegas.
Who's ProFlight? Is that guy flying for Bose? Because I have the ProFlight headset. All right, 1,000 feet, stable, clear to land. Vegas traffic, Spare wings 357, 2 mile final, 1 right, Las Vegas traffic. I don't see anybody down there. Runway looks clear. We got a pretty stiff wind, 18 knots, quartering headwind. See if we can't roll this one to the end and take those gates down there.
500.
Feel that wind just a little bit there. Starting to die off. Spoilers. Get back on center line. A reverse green. Decelling. I'll take it. I'll take it. Got the little Microsoft crosswind situation going on again, but 70 knots. I liked it. I like how it felt there. Definitely not as I had more flare. So in all 321 flights we've done before this, I mean, you barely just, you pull back and she coasted down. This one definitely felt a little bit more chunky. Like it didn't want to float, which is good. Didn't want to float, which is good. Just, we need Microsoft to work on their crosswind dynamics. All right, we're clear here. I'm very excited to see what this looks like in the replay. Let's go ahead and clean it up. Now we could, I want to see, I'm more excited to see the replay. So we're going to leave the engines on. We're going to leave the lights on as we taxi into the gate here. I'm going to wind the time back just a hair so we can enjoy that. See if we get any wing fluxes out there. Wing flex. Vegas traffic, Spirit Wings 357, we're clear, one right, taxi to gate Vegas. All right, we'll stop the recording. What did we get? Did you guys see the thing? $200. All right, I'll take a $200. Look at the wing wobbling out there a little bit.
Vegas traffic, per flight 777 is clear of runway 1 left Sierra Hotel to the ramp. And
So,
Spirit Wing, thanks for the sidestep, sir.
not a problem. Spirit Wings 357. Have a good night.
You too, sir.
All right. Is this why it feels so good when you taxi around too? It feels better. All right, we'll take these first set of gates over here, and then we are going to watch this. Yeah, the taxi model feels smooth. Feels really smooth. Look, we landed with 3.9. That is getting low. We'll slow it down here. Let's go ahead and park. I'll just take this first gate. We already did one shutdown, so you already heard the shutdown sound. So let's just park it and go into the replay. Let's try to do a legit parking, though. Let's test out our new parking abilities here. Let's see. I'll turn these off just for parking situation. Alpha 19. Let's roll it in. I mean, that feels good. It feels more precise. Just a little bit more. Slow it down. About 4 knots coming up on the ramp lines. Oh, look at that. Ah, that was bang on. We'll do a little cheap cam here. We'll take it all the way up to the 3rd stop. Perfect ERP. Gotta love it. Oh, that feels good. Feel free if you want to go do circuits. No worries now. Okay, so now that we've blown up the NDA, Amir has given us permission to do some more. I think we could take it up for another circuit. I think we should do another circuit after this. Let's see how we did on this first one. Let's go, we'll disconnect from my Veo Premium, and then we'll go to replay cam. So we'll do this, set this up over here. I'm not going to start sail just yet. Look at that view, though. But the sphere was giving us the side eye for a second there. No, we don't need you. Let's wind it back. Let's turn the parking brake off. Let's rearm the spoilers. We'll watch this last one here later, but let's run it forward a little bit. Ooh, look at the wings. Look at the wings out there. All right, hold on. Let's just watch this. We were flaps 2 at this point, I believe. That wing flex was awesome. This is... I already thought the wing flex was good. Now we're going to a whole nother level. Alright, so we're stable. We did have auto thrust on, right? So let me put you on auto thrust on. There we go. Gear is down. Gear is down. Flaps 3. Fenix is real life. It is, man. It is. Carol says, I missed the last 15 minutes. We have to rewatch what happened. Yeah. Well, there goes all the, Yep. Good thing that no one trusts me with nuclear launch codes. Can't take me anywhere, Jet Kid. I know it, right? Oh, I love that. I love the thud of that flap motor. Jeremy, I agree with you, man. I totally agree with you. So as we descended, oh, look, did you see that? Did you guys see that? As we descended, the wind kind of shifted off, and it got a little burbly. Got a little bit burbly. Why is there some little flap on flaps? I don't know what you mean by that. I mean, if you're just quiet and listen to the hum, this, I mean, you could say this is real life. Thank you, Blackbird. Yeah, it was, I mean, 18 knots, but it was pretty stable there. Pretty steady on the wind, and then as we got low, it kind of did the typical Vegas thing. That's awesome. Is this real life? No, it's Iowa. Look at the lights. Oh man, I was gonna speed it up, but let's just watch this. Let's just watch this. Let's shh. I can't believe this is the sim, you know. What has been accomplished now in the sim world is just insane. that one said 231. Look at that decel. All right, we're going to watch it from outside. We'll see how we did here. Let's pause it. We're going to see how we did on the outside view. Wind it back. Resume. I'm going to stow the speed brakes. I think you're rearm the speed brake. There we go. Tail strike? What are you talking about, Andre? Just a little destabilized there, right as we touched down. Yeah, look at that, though. I mean, that's awesome. Native frame gen, dub. On the 4080. Go back in the light a little bit. Let's watch it in the light. Yeah, it just kind of ran out of juice. That's what Fenix was saying, right? They're saying that this flight model will have to... I mean, that felt pretty dang good. See, she just... In the other variants, that would just kind of settle down and float. A little bit of a plopper. Showboating the nose wheel a little bit. Flying it down nice and slow. Touchdown a little off center line. We got it back on. Looks like I didn't turn my landing light on. Alright. How about for testing purposes? I'm gonna... Hold on. I'm gonna save this real quick. So let's run it forward. I got an idea. Since Amir said we can do some testing with it, why don't we reconfigure the winds? And I got an idea. Let's give ourselves a little bit more gas real quick. Can we do that? Not when we're flying. Have to shut it down. Okay, so we'll keep it as is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send us back here.
Herein, ahead.
I'm going to pause the replay. Let's let the airplane kind of catch up to what we're doing. I'm going to go to the weather. And we're going to go live weather off. Massive storm conditions, and I want to look at the wind, cloud layer, wind. So we're landing northbound. Let's do a nice crosswind. Let's do a crosswind like so from 301. Let's make it 320. All right, and we'll make it spicy meatball. We'll do 27. Gusting 35. All right. Clear the caution. Reset that. It's gonna fall here for a second. Stop replay. Recording on. Hold on, I'm saving the other one. Okay, recording a new one. All right, let's get in here. I have control. It's going to take a minute for everything to get reset, so just give me a second here, y'all. Let's rebug you. We're out of fuel, essentially. We're getting close. Spoilers armed. Let's do a flap 3 landing. Actually, no, let's do flaps full on this one. Starting to have Microsoft connectivity issues here, it looks like. I'll tell you what, we'll go flaps 2. Just because we're so far out, I didn't see that. Just FYI, the wing flex will be affected by your turbulence, so it will change depending. Really hard to scale all of them. So when on low, it can be a bit too low and such. For flying and dynamics, still generally recommend low. Okay, so the turbulence, as we were saying, is going to be reflected by what we have in the sim. Well, we got a 60 knot wind here. Let's see what we have. Let's put it on low or medium if we don't already. Piloting turbulence is low. Okay, so it's on low. Let's try this on low for a piloting experience here. We got a 60 knot wind. Hopefully that's going to shear off as we get closer. We got a massive front moving in over there, it looks like. Oh, if we like seeing the wing bounce around, we need medium, he says. Let's go medium, because I want to see that. Let's go assistance. Turn this sucker up. And normally we have this on medium. I'm not sure why I have it on low right now. We'll go medium. Oh, look at the difference. Immediately. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, we're getting crushed. All right. Hold on. We'll start a new recording now. Look at all the jiggles. I'm going to bring the gear up. Normally don't do that, but that's just for replay purposes here. We're in a 55 knot crosswind right now, so this is not... I mean, there's a massive thunderstorm off the left. Look at that. I mean, we're in a 50 knot cross. I'm hoping this is going to phase out here as we get down to ground level. This is worst case scenario, maybe one attempt at the approach, and then you probably go into an alternate. Because we got a massive, look at that massive storm cell out there. Just fighting it to keep her level here. I mean, yeah, 70 knot crosswind at 4,000 feet. Not super realistic, but I'm hoping this is going to start to shear off as we descend down. Magic Barrel Ref will update that. We're getting low on gas. Fuel crossfeed on. This is one of those scenarios where we've held, we can't divert, we have no gas, we have to land. This is not necessarily for realism purposes. I wanted like 28 knots is what I wanted. Yeah, 27 is like 45 to 50. Oh, if no fueling, crossfeed on. Crossfeed on, Gus. What are you trying to fly my airplane for, you freaking saboteur? Alright. Now let's go ahead and slow down and configure. This would definitely be a flaps 3, so let's do flaps 3. We'll try again with a realistic wind value after this.
1,000.
I'd just be curious to see if we can put it on the ground. If it's not going to get below 60 knots, we're not going to be able to do it here. Also looks like the sim decided to not load in. You know what the problem is? I know what the problem is. Hold on, pause. It's because we're at, I know exactly what it is. Because that's at ground level. We'll do 17, gusting 21. Now this should die off here. All right, there we go. Look at that gust right there.
500.
I'm not sure what happened to my scenery. It decided to not load in. That's okay. There we go. Now we're pretty much 30 knot gusting right at the limit. 155, all right.
Think rate.
Oh, losing it all, correcting. Last minute attempt, auto brake selected. Why is my scenery not here? That's not good. That's right, we're doing this for
100.
flight dynamics.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard. 5.
Oh, that was awesome. That handled really. Oh, that was a tail strike. Where'd my scenery go? Okay, we're having an X-plane moment. All right. I think my teleport broke it, absolutely. But let's just see. Now my teleporting didn't break it. Let's bring it back. I want to see that. The handling though was awesome on that. I know the sim is in X-plane mode right now, but the handling was awesome. Like that handled really well. Let's watch this from the wing. We're doing this for wing flex, y'all. I mean, that was awesome. Handling that on the way down. Doing a flaps 3, 155. I mean, it was a battle. Look at the flap shaking. Actually, it looked pretty dang smooth too for the landing. Straighten it out. Put her down. That's awesome. Yeah, the teleporting mode kind of ruined it. There's our pitch tail strike. Man. All right, I'm super. I mean, either way. Let's go ahead and we'll stop that. We're gonna load the last replay for cinematics, and we're gonna wrap it up there. I mean, that's all I need to feel. It just felt amazing. All right, I need to go back to weather, live weather, sunset. Resto U. I gotta wrap this up because I gotta go pick up my girl from school. So we're gonna wrap it up now. We're flaps 2. We're 180. Parking brake is off. That's good. We're slowing down. Let's turn you back to off. I'll run the sim forward a little bit. Actually, we'll do it at night. Let's do like a night since the scenery's borked. Let's do a night approach. You guys can really see the ECP lit up. Shout out to NDA Destruction. All right, y'all. Oh, let me get the landing lights on. You know what's cool is on replay mode, the lights don't bug out anymore. You guys notice that? On replay mode, the lights aren't bugged out. All right. Guys, gals, Phoenix, this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this flight. That was incredible going through that changelog, seeing exactly what is to come. I mean, they did say Shark Week, so I can't wait to see what's next. Thank you all for the support. Bank angle checks, hit the like button, the super chats. I feel like we did everything on the stream. We de-iced, we had engine icing, or we had to do the breakaway icing procedure. De-iced, we held, we had a mirror here, we destroyed an NDA, but we didn't break the airplane, so I think that's a good way to end it. I'll see you all later this week, probably tomorrow if we get the official Sharklet release. You know I'll be flying it, so when that happens, make sure you check back here the V1 Sim channel. You guys have been awesome as always. I'm out of here. Tyson, maybe. Y'all stay safe, stay healthy. I'm V1. Soup! I think I like medium on the wing flexes. Medium is where it's at.